Something like this. Hit it.
The Roger Report live morning show, weekdays at 9 a.m.
Say y'all, I was on Roger's panel a few times and I couldn't take it. The heat. I got out the kitchen. It was hot. I was sweating. I had to get out.
He's Roger, and he's right.
Check this out.
We can live or die. You choose. I have spoken to you a lot of times in hatred and anger, and you have not heard me. Well, you had better hear me today. If you won't listen to me when I make an appeal for the Negroes because you have no concern for the Negroes, listen to me when I make an appeal for America. You claim you love America. Well, we love America. But you are driving us back and you are making a Samson out of us, and we are going to pull down the pillars. And then you think we have no right to ask for something? Is it too much to ask you to grant us human dignity? Should we be put down and shot to death for this request? If so, you can aim your guns. What the hell do you think we care about dying if you're going to deny us the right to live?
Good morning, folks, and welcome to another edition of the Roger Report Live, the best show on social media. If you are new to the channel, go ahead and take a moment out to hit that like button, because this is where you're going to find the best content on social media. And you don't have to worry about it because you're going to have me right here to make sure that happens. And if you've already been coming to the channel for a while, then go ahead and hit that like button, because you already know what time it is. And you know that this is where you're going to get the best content on social media. It's not a mystery to you at this point. You've seen other people do it. You even seen some people do it well, but what you have not seen is anyone do it quite the way I do it. So make sure you hit that like button, and everyone, yes, everyone, take a moment out to share the content, y'all. There are so many people who need to get great content like this, and it's just a small thing you can do to help the world be a better place. And isn't that what we want at the end of the day? Don't we want the world to be a better place? Of course we do. So share the content out. Share it through your social media. Share it through word of mouth, or even check someone's phone. But do what you got to do to help spread the word. All right, folks, today we are going to be talking about something very, very, very interesting, as if we don't talk about interesting stuff every day. But it's wild what comes up. It's wild what comes up. We are going to be talking about Michelle Obama, y'all. The world's greatest feminist. Okay? Shout out to Michelle Obama, the world's greatest feminist. And we will definitely get into why in a minute. But before we go into this, y'all, first of all, I want to say shout out to all the people who give me views on a regular basis. You know, the folks who actually leave comments after the stream, the folks who hit that like button, the people that hype me up every chance they get. You guys are helping make a difference, and I appreciate you big time. Thank you for helping me grow the channel, because all that means a great deal to the algorithm, and it helps spread the word, and we can bring new people on and, make the world a better place, which we want to do. And shout out to everyone who goes above and beyond the call of duty and becomes a financial contributor to the channel, because all y'all are extremely important, and I cannot do things the same way without y'all. Y'all allow me to do things that I wouldn't be able to do without you. So shout out to everyone who has been a financial contributor over here at the Roger Report Live. all the money on the wood is good at the Roger Report Live. And I'm going to say shout out to FLX. He is the sponsor of today's stream. Shout out to FLX, the sponsor of today's stream. And what a stream to sponsor. Woo! We going to go deep with Michelle Obama, y'all. We going deep with Michelle Obama, y'all. Now, before I get going too, let me give a shout out to some of the first people to check in this morning, y'all. And I appreciate y'all for checking in because I know this was actually a hard one. So special shout out to MJD the second. Special shout out to you for being like what we like to call around here, the Highlander of today's stream. Shout out to you, my brother. Shout out to you. And I got to say, y'all, this was a hard one. Why? Because I just came across some new changes, y'all. It was some changes in the studio, and I set the show up, and then I couldn't get back into the studio that I set it up in, and I didn't know what was going on, so they obviously changed something, so I had to make a new one. And I figured out after the show. I figured out what the changes are after the show. So that caught me by surprise. So I do apologize for the hold up. They made some changes. It caught me by surprise. I got to go in after the show some point. I'm going to look at what the changes are. So they got me today. So sorry about that, y'all. Sorry about that. But shout out to MJD the second to be the Highlander of today's stream, which was, which I know threw y'all off because people was going to the wrong place, which was the right place until I realized I was locked out and I had to come make a new place. So shout out to you. Shout out to my main man, Chef Mike's Roundtable is also in the building. Glad to see you, brother. Glad to see you. And you know what, Chef Mike? Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you because I saw you in the other studio and you was over here quick. So shout out to you for jumping ship and coming to the right spot as quick as you did. Shout out to Floyd Thompson. What's going on, my brother? Yay. Glad to see you in the building. I see I'm listening is here. Great to have you. Patrick St. Juan is in the building. What's good, my brother? Shout out to Afro Merchant who just pulled up a seat at the cool table. Glad to have you here. Glad to everybody who's coming in. I see y'all coming in, and I appreciate y'all big time. And sorry about that mix-up. They made some changes, y'all, so I got to figure out what the changes are, but I'll figure that out after the show. Now, let's get to it, y'all. We got Michelle Obama here, y'all. The world's greatest feminist. Shout out to Unpopular Truth. I see you just popped in. Good to have you. Michelle Obama, y'all, very interesting figure. Okay, very interesting figure. And I do believe at this particular point in time, you can't really deny that she is not the world's greatest feminist. And Michelle Obama went to a feminist podcast. Now, how do you know it's a feminist podcast? Well, you could just listen and figure it out if you actually listen to them. But it was said. Okay, this was an interview that was almost 2 hours long. I think the podcast was like 1 hour, 57 minutes and some change on the second. So y'all, I sat through this for almost 2 hours, but I love my audience and I could not do anything on this without actually, getting in and listening to the whole thing. So yeah, I listened to the whole thing, y'all. The whole thing. And Michelle Obama said some interesting stuff. The host said some interesting stuff, but Michelle Obama said some interesting stuff as well. And I'm going to say this, y'all. She right. We got to accept that some of the stuff she said is just right. When she alludes to or implies that men don't get it the way the women get it, she right, because ain't nowhere in the world. Ain't nowhere in the world for me to get it like they got it, y'all. Ain't no way in the world for me to get it like they got it, okay? Because Michelle Obama has written her third book, y'all. That's what was going on. So she's promoting the book. She's written her third book, okay? And Michelle Obama was discussing some of the things that make life hard being a woman. Now, y'all, this was for women and girls, I found out, okay, as I was watching this, and I really listened to this thing, y'all. I didn't just stare at it. I was really listening. Man, oh man, what can I tell y'all? She told how hard it is to be a woman in her position. And I know a lot of us had, we theorized Michelle Obama must really resent Barack, okay? Or Michelle Obama must really be in competition with Barack, or Michelle Obama must not be that grateful to what her husband was able to accomplish. Now, this is the thing. Based on the conversation she had, sound like a lot of y'all was right. I'm just tell you straight up. Sound like a lot of y'all was right. Michelle, when you listen to it, it definitely sticks out. She feels some type of way. She does. She feels some type of way, and she let in some of the different things that she has done. And the fact that she's basically being viewed from people around the world as Barack Obama's wife, or former President Barack Obama's wife. Or they sometimes they don't say former. That's actually sound to do if a person has been president. You don't have to say former president, even though they are a former president. It's still like part of the regular decorum to say president this or president that. So she has a problem being President Barack Obama's wife, or being acknowledged as such. And you would think that a woman who's been married, because I don't know how long they've been married, but they've been married a good little while now. They've been married a good little while. You would think a woman who's been married to a man for this amount of time would be okay with being known as the wife of that man. Now, I'm going to say Michelle got to be the world's greatest feminist. She got to be. She on top of the heap. At the end of the day, a lot of people look at her and a lot of women look to her. Let's keep that real, y'all. Let's keep it real. A lot of women look to her. Okay? And for you to be a wife of the acknowledged first Black president of the United States, okay? I'm going to say the acknowledged, because I understand George Washington was not the president until 1789, and there was some Black men running some stuff before that. So I'm going to say the acknowledged first Black president of the United States. Okay? You married to him. You are the acknowledged first Black woman who is a first lady of the United States. And for some reason, that's not good enough for you. That ain't good enough. Okay? Now, she did not say she don't like being recognized. She didn't say she didn't appreciate the fame. She didn't say she don't like people, giving her special favors or looking at her a certain way, or being this, I guess, leader amongst women. She didn't say she had a problem with any of that stuff. She didn't say she had a problem with any of that stuff. But a lot of that stuff came because she was the first Black woman who was the acknowledged first lady of the country. Okay? A lot of what she didn't have a problem with, she got because she was the first lady. Okay? Because she was the first Black first lady. Now, Michelle still feels some type of way because Michelle did do some stuff before she got into the White House with her husband. Okay, so she feels some type of way. Michelle said some stuff, y'all. She said I did go to Yale. I did go to Harvard. I was a lawyer. Okay, she was a VP of something with the I think she said the University of Chicago Hospitals. I can't remember exactly what it was, but Michelle held some quote unquote prestigious positions before she became the first lady of the United States. Now, I ain't gonna put her down. She put some work in. She did some hard work. That's cool. Ain't nothing. Hey, it is what it is. She you know what I'm saying? She a lady. She from Chicago. She did all that stuff. Cool. We don't know you from that, though. We don't know you from that. I ain't saying she didn't do a good job. I'm sure whatever she did, okay? I'm sure whatever she did a fine job at it, okay? The type of attitude that Michelle carries, I'm pretty sure she did all of her different jobs. Yeah. She said she worked with a nonprofit organization as well. I'm sure she did all that stuff, and she did it a fantastic way. Am I saying Michelle was lazy about it? No, I'm not even insinuating. Michelle did not go, quote unquote, balls to the walls. I mean, since she went on a feminist podcast, which they acknowledged was a feminist podcast, I'm sure she went balls to the wall on all the stuff she did before she was the first lady of the White House. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Shout out to a Bunga. Shout out to Bunga. He said she attended Princeton, not Yale. My bad. Okay. My bad, y'all. We don't want to give out bad information. So shout out to Bunga for catching that. Princeton, not Yale. Okay, yeah, we don't want to give out bad information. She was an Ivy Leaguer, though. Okay, she was an Ivy Leaguer. She wasn't. Her background is nothing to shake a stick at. Okay, there's a little something to it. Okay, we can't just sneeze at her background. Now the thing is, that's a great background. Okay, it just ain't why you're known amongst the world. The world don't know you as those things. I am not here to say Michelle didn't do a good job, but the world don't know her as those things. Okay. They know her from being the first lady of the United States. Now, I don't know what the problem is to moving on to bigger and better things. I don't get that as a problem, y'all. I don't get that as a problem. You're moving on to bigger and better things. If they're not taking you outside of what you morally agree with, I don't see what the problem is. I just don't see it. Okay? I just don't see it. Okay? Now, she understood that since she was going to be a first lady, potentially, and she was going to be the first acknowledged Black first lady, potentially, she said, we got to get it together. Okay? We got to make sure that we good on a lot of different levels. I got to make sure this come out right. So she has done a lot as a first lady from a very conscious perspective on the image that she's going to be putting forth to the world. And I'm going to say shout out to her for that. That's how a good wife should be. You should have some level of understanding that if your husband is running for president of the United States, and there's a lot of other things you can run for where you're going to be out there on Front Street, represent the family well. Represent your husband well. That's great to do. So she has certain understandings, but you could tell how being Barack's wife was an accomplishment. Okay, she can always say it is, but I'm gonna say based on what I heard, the way it came off to me, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people who pay any attention, becoming Barack's wife was not an accomplishment for her. That was not it's not an accomplishment. Okay. And I'm gonna say that's sad to say. It just wasn't an accomplishment for her to marry a man that eventually became a president of the United States. Now I'm gonna say that's sad. Now, why I'm gonna say that's sad? Because it's an accomplishment to marry any man, let alone one who goes into politics, let alone one who wins elections, let alone one who goes to the highest level of politics and becomes president of the United States. When a wife does not see her marrying a husband as an accomplishment, I'm going to say it's something wrong right there. Something wrong right there. Okay? Something wrong right there. And based on what I got from her, marrying her husband was not an accomplishment. He was a cute guy that showed up on the job one day. Okay? And they eventually started dating. That's the way she tells the story. They eventually started dating. So he was just a cute guy who showed up on the job, but she wasn't trying to date the guy because she felt it would be tacky to date a guy that you work with. She felt it would be tacky, you know. Now, I'm gonna say she definitely was keeping to things that you would expect from a black woman. It's tacky to date a guy that you're working with. But what did she do? She dated the guy she worked with. Now, one thing I told y'all time and time again, there's two things you can count on, or you can call it one thing, however you want to label it. What you can depend on black women to do with black men is to lie on you and lie to you. You can depend on those things. You definitely can depend on those things, okay? That's for sure. A shout out to Elder Blood. He says, Roger, if you have black women working for you, they probably erased what I commented earlier. I thought the thought crossed my mind since you said you updated the studio. Now that's hilarious, Elder Blood. That's hilarious. But I can understand. I definitely can understand. But yeah, I had to change studios, y'all. They made some changes or whatever, so I got to figure out what the changes are, which I have not stopped to look at now. I seen it. It was showtime. I was like, oh man, y'all going this what we doing? This what we doing? But you know, I get that all worked out later on today. I'm sure. Shout out to Landon. Landon said Michelle disproves all the level up black men talking point. Yeah, Michelle does disprove all the level of black men talking points, which it's an unfortunate thing, but it's something I've known to be very true. Okay, if you're gonna be better as a black man, be better for yourself, because doing it for the women ain't finna get you nothing. Doing it for the women ain't finna get you nothing. You do that for yourself. And you know what? I'm gonna say shout out to Barack, y'all. Shout out to Barack. I sat there, but again, y'all, I listened to this whole thing that went on for close to 2 hours, like an hour, 57 minutes and something. Barack married to her, y'all. I'm gonna say shout out to Barack. He married to her. Now, I don't know what that's like. I know I don't want to know what that's like. You know, I have no interest in knowing what that truly is like. All I can say is shout out to Barack for holding on to this particular woman, because I'm pretty sure there was some challenges going on. With all the other stuff Barack had to do, it was definitely some challenges going on being married to Michelle. Okay, I'm not saying she was a terrible wife. I'm saying there has definitely been some challenges going on with Michelle at the end of the day, y'all. Now we kind of have seen some stuff in public, but you know, you don't get to see all the private stuff, you know. But I'm gonna tell you this, y'all. Michelle said they go to couples therapy. You know, Michelle has a therapist, so she does therapy herself, and she also said they go to couples therapy. You know, when I heard that, I was like, you know what? I ain't surprised. I ain't surprised. For Barack to still be married to this woman, I'm pretty sure some couples therapy was needed. Okay. Shout out to the therapist, helping them keep this thing together. Because Lord have mercy, y'all. Now, Michelle is something else. And Michelle she's in a great, unique position, y'all. She's in a great, unique position. Now, I'm saying she's in a great, unique position because she became this acknowledged first Black First Lady. The first Black First Lady of the United States. That's a very unique position to be in. You know what Michelle said? Why she unique though? Y'all know what Michelle said? Michelle said she's unique because she grew up and she felt safe. She said that made her unique. I was a girl growing up, and you know, my father was around, and you know, I had two grandfathers, and you know, I learned about all these different things that was happening to women as they were growing up and things like that. And I've always felt safe. I'm unique. Do y'all understand what she just said? I'm talking about you want to throw just about every black man under the bus. She says she's unique because she felt safe. Yeah, I have men in my life that have been there for me. So I felt safe. I'm unique. That's saying a whole lot about every other brother out there, y'all. That's saying a whole lot about every other brother out there. She's unique. She like a unicorn, y'all. She a unicorn. She's safe around black men. And she said that implying other women were not safe around black men. You telling me she ain't the world's greatest feminist? Okay. Shout out to Bucket. Bucket said, Roger, if she looks like that, you have to be nice and sweet. Hey, bro. I'm gonna leave that alone, brother. I'm gonna leave that alone. But shout out to you, Bucket. I was finna say something. You know what? I'm gonna leave that alone, Bucket. I'm gonna leave it alone. She's still married to Barack, so I'm gonna leave it alone. Okay. I'm gonna leave it alone. Okay. Shout out to you, though, brother. Shout out to you. Okay. I was about to go somewhere, but I ain't going. I ain't going. Oh. Now, y'all, I'm gonna say, look, y'all. Look at Bucket, y'all. Bucket say no. Speak on it, Raj. You trying to encourage it. You trying to encourage stuff, Bucket. I'm gonna do one of the greatest shows in podcast history. So let me keep cooking. Let me not get thrown. Let me keep cooking with this. But shout out to you, Bucket. Look, y'all. This has got to be the greatest feminist walk on the planet right now, y'all. And that's just real talk. That's just real. Oh, hold on. Shout out to Floyd Thompson chiming in. Appreciate you, my brother. Appreciate you, my brother, for the super chat. He said, Roger, she's from O-Block. Nothing safe over there. Floyd, see, I don't know if you playing or not. I don't know if you playing or not. Okay. Now she from O-Block talking about she felt safe. And she unique. I guess they just put more of a spin on it. But shout out to you, Floyd. Appreciate you, my brother. And shout out to you for the 57-cent trail Bentley tax. Appreciate that, my brother. Appreciate that. Now, I know she's from Chicago, South Side. I don't know if she's from O-Block. I think Floyd just playing with us, y'all. I think he just playing with shout out to Landon. Landon says Michelle is a deep insult to a black man's spirit. Hey, you know what, brother? I'm saying she definitely insulted us, okay? She definitely insulted us, just by saying she's unique. Because, she felt safe. So basically, black men don't make nobody feel safe. Okay, it's all our fault. It's all our fault. It's crazy. So yeah, the insults were there, y'all. The insults were there. I'm gonna say a little more subtle this time. They don't just smack you in the face. She's doing such a great job of presenting feminism that I would even understand how some men would be fooled by. Okay, I would even understand that. And matter of fact, that's part of what she's going for. That is actually part of what she's going for, which I'll touch back on a little later on. I'll touch back on that. Okay, shout out to Elder Blood. He says, no matter it be Michelle Obama or Bo Keisha, down under it all comes, excuse me. Hold on. No matter it be Michelle Obama or Bo Keisha, down under, it all comes down to white men and black women's new world order arch nemesis to God's original world order. I'm not gonna say you're wrong. I'm not gonna say you're wrong. Now I'm gonna say this though. She didn't at least in this particular one. I don't think she well, she didn't necessarily bring up white men in a way, in a comparison way. I would say that she didn't bring up white men in a comparison way. Now shout out to NBA young boy. He said she really is from O Block, Cabrini Green. Well, O Block and Cabrini Green are different. O Block and Cabrini Green are different. Now, for some reason in my mind, it seemed like, is she really from Cabrini Green? Because I don't think she is, because I'm thinking she was a South Sider. Cabrini Green is not considered South Side. But it seemed familiar in my head, you know. But I know she was unique and she felt safe, though. She was unique and she felt safe, y'all. So, in Michelle's viewpoint, women aren't safe because she was unique to be safe. Okay? She's unique to be safe. So, you know, it is what it is. You know, shout out to the righteous. He said Michelle is married though. Why is she a feminist? You know what? That's something you gotta ask Michelle. Okay. All we can do is listen to the stuff she said that she does out that has public release and, you know, come to our best conclusions. But yeah, that's a good question to ask Michelle. I'm pretty sure nobody's gonna ask her though. I'm pretty sure no one's gonna ask her, you know, but you know, Michelle said some interesting stuff. Okay. Now, shout out to my main man, Roastmaster One. He said, "You listen to this fool for 2 hours." How you do it, Roger? You must be some kind of superhero. Look, hey man, I appreciate you saying that. I really do. I really do appreciate you saying that, y'all. But see, I'm not going, you know, whenever I can, y'all. I'm not gonna cheat the audience. Okay, I understand, y'all. There's a lot of other places y'all could go to, and y'all ain't got to come here. You know what I'm saying? I understand that. So I ain't gonna cheat the audience. No, if I can do it and it needs to be done, that's what I'm doing. I ain't cheating the audience. Okay, I know that's cool in a lot of other places where they cheat the audience and don't really look into stuff. No, I'm not doing that. I actually want y'all to get the best thing presented to you. So I do the best I can to make sure I can safely say I got the best show on social media. Okay, and that's just real talk. So sometimes that means you got to listen to Michelle Obama for 2 hours, just about. So it is what it is. All right, but I got to tell y'all, the way she was coming off, the way she carries herself, she still moves as a very, 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 very classy individual. And this is the part that makes her so dangerous. Okay, she moves as a very classy individual. And I see you, Roastmaster. I'm gonna say, she moves as a very classy individual, y'all. Okay, Michelle comes off as a wonderful, sweet person, and you would think she wants the best for all people based on the interview. You would think she wants the best for all people based on the interview, and that's real talk, y'all. That's how she was coming off. I'm just keeping it real. All right. And shout out to Roastmaster One. Thank you very much, my brother. Thank you very much. Roastmaster One just dropped $50.57. Y'all, $50.57. I guess lunch is on Roastmaster One today. Appreciate you, my brother. Appreciate you. And shout out to you for that Trail Bentley tax. He says, great content, bro. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. Real talk. Appreciate you. Okay. Now, this is the thing, y'all. She talked on this podcast. There was a bit of a discussion there, and she appealed to the fathers, y'all. She appealed to the father. Y'all, don't get it twisted. They doing stuff new and better. Okay, new and better. Okay, she doing stuff new and better. Okay, they appeal to men, y'all. They literally appeal to men. They say, hey, we don't want to just take men and just throw them in this box. We don't want to just put them in a box, basically, and just kind of throw them away. We need men, okay? We need men. We want you to look in the world, okay? You know, you talk to your daughters and say, "Hey, baby girl," okay? Yeah, and this is me embellishing, y'all. I'm not gonna quote nobody without telling you I'm quoting somebody. So this is me embellishing on some of the stuff that was being said. You as a father, you talk to your daughter, you see your baby girl's eyes, you know, you love your daughter, okay? We don't know if you really like any women that you're not personally attached to, but we know you love your daughter. Can you look your baby girl in the eyes and tell her that one day, I'm gonna stop all these men trying to hold you back. Okay? I'm gonna stop the patriarchy from holding you back. Okay? I'm gonna stop the patriarchy from holding you back because you my daughter. Okay? And I love my daughter. And I'm gonna fight everybody in the patriarchy that needs to be fought. So one day you can be CEO. That's what I want for you, because you my baby. All right. And she said to black men, I guess technically other men too, because she didn't make it a black thing. If you do not fight to create that world for her while she's growing up, so when she becomes an adult one day, when she gets out into the world one day, if you didn't put her in position to become CEO, then you lied to your daughter. You lied to her. And that part she said. she said you lied to your daughter. If you don't get out here and construct the world where your daughter can be CEO, then you lied to your daughter. And you know what? Saying something like that can pull at your heartstrings. And you know what I said to myself when I heard that? I said, what woman in America can't be a CEO? That's what I said. She presented it in such a way you would actually believe that there was a quote unquote patriarchy out there stopping her from becoming a CEO. That's how she said it, y'all. They presented it as if, and you know, they threw the term patriarchy here and there. They threw the term misogyny out a couple times. They was doing crazy work, y'all. They was doing crazy work. But she said that as if a woman literally can't be a CEO right now. Like, we don't have literal female CEOs of companies right now. Okay? Okay? Hold on. Shout out to Elder Boy. He said, if my daughter followed Michelle's teaching and wisdom, I have no doubt my daughter would marry a white man. Look at the Obama children. Roger, I know you have not missed it. No, I mean, look, y'all, that was the whole plan. The Obama girls are not going to be allowed to marry any black men. I'm pretty sure. It probably was part of the package deal. I've told y'all before, Obama couldn't even be president if he had a son, because the name would live on through his son. You think they was going to put a black man in office that had a son, and a son might carry on in his father's footsteps one day? And I'm pretty sure, you know, I'm not saying nothing about the girls, but I'm pretty sure they've done everything they could. You know, I'm not just saying the parents. I'm pretty sure part of the deal is the daughters are gonna have to marry white. If either one of them marry a black man, I'm gonna be shocked. Okay, but that's something I figured out when they was first kids going into the White House. They gone already, y'all. That's a prepackaged deal. They was already gone. Okay. And shout out to Floyd Thompson. Appreciate you, my brother, again. And shout out to you again for the 57-cent trail Bentley tax. He says she's just trying to get black men to give up the refund. I think he meant to say she's just trying to get black men to give up the funds. Okay. I'm pretty sure she is. Based on what she was saying, that's exactly what she wants. She does want black men to help fund women to be in a position that they want to be in. That's what she wants. Okay? That's what she wants. All right? But again, y'all, she didn't make it a black and white thing as she was on this particular show. She didn't make it a black and white thing. But she was saying, as men, now I'm going to say, of course, she knows that's going to speak to black men more because of how black men have been conditioned to be. As men, if your daughter don't become CEO, you basically you're a failure as a father. That's basically how that's the subconscious message that she was putting out there. If your daughter doesn't become CEO, then you failed as a father. You really don't love your daughter. You lied to your daughter about the world that you are shaping for her. And she said this as if you literally can't. Well, I guess it would be different places, different, locations. Maybe, I mean, technically you could do it online nowadays. We got the internet for everything. She said it as if a woman can't start a company right now and put herself as CEO. That's how she said it. She said it as if women did not have the ability to start a company today and declare themselves CEO. What woman can't be a CEO? And I get it. Some of y'all might say, well, Rod, she probably mean a company that's already started. Well, yeah, Michelle wants women to run companies that have already started, whether they deserve it or not. And I'm gonna say whether they deserve it or not, because her take on the presidency, well, she said she has no interest in, y'all. She said she's not interested in being president of the United States. Okay. But she says a woman should be president of the United States. She's down for a woman being president of the United States. Now, she didn't say anything about qualifying, which, I mean, no. She did say there were some women who were qualified for the job. She did say that. Okay. And she literally mentioned our former vice president. I'm drawing blank on her name, y'all. Who was our former vice president? The first woman vice president of the United States? The lady who blew $1 billion in campaign fund. What's that lady name? You know what? I'm not even mad. I literally can't remember what her name is. I see her picture in my head and everything. I done did multiple stories on her. And her name wasn't even, I couldn't even pull her name up. Okay, shout out to Bunga Harris, y'all. I don't know why I drew blank on her name, other than the fact she was not qualified to be president of the United States. Okay, she was not qualified. I kept asking people all while she was running, give me a political reason why Kamala Harris should be president of the United States, and nobody answered that question. No one could say it. So you know what? I guess that was the right place to go blank on her name. Real talk. Okay? Real talk. Now, Michelle might think she qualified. Okay? Michelle might. But as Michelle said, she ain't no politician. Okay? Now, I'm just going to say, if a person's qualified to be president of the United States, someone should be able to throw out at least one reason why they qualified. And no one gave me any reason. All them broadcasts I did about Kamala Harris specifically, because I was very anti-Kamala Harris being president of the United States. I was very anti that. Okay? As I looked at her track record, it was just horrible. Okay? But no one can give a reason why she should be president of the United States. But Michelle say, and that's her view. She's qualified. So, now I got to really start looking at how you view stuff. But y'all, it has been confirmed to me. And I know a lot of people have been, making mention of Michelle because she said different things. We got to understand who Michelle is as a person. And I'm going to say the interview she did gave you a great insight to who she is as a person. Now, again, y'all, this interview was particularly geared toward the women and girls. They did specifically say that. Okay, they did specifically say that. And Michelle's idea of girls is be your own person before you even think about being with a man. You know, have your career already established before you even think about being a man. Family should be last. And that's just what it came down to, y'all. At the end of the day, your family should be last. Okay, and she said many things to support that. So while we have been looking at Michelle Obama do all this crazy stuff, say all this little slick stuff about Barack and what it's like being married to Barack, and sometimes you want to kill your husband. Well, not kill. I just want to hurt him real bad. Okay, I don't want to kill him. She said I don't want to kill him. Just hurt him. Just put him through a window. Why did she say all this type of stuff? Because Michelle made it very clear, family should be the last thing you're concerned with. As a woman, you need to go out into the world, do what you need, do whatever it is you feel you need to accomplish first, build your own career up, be your own woman, and then if it strikes your fancy, then get married and have some children. And you know what she also did? She also blamed the patriarchy that women have to do stuff. Now, I want y'all to dig this here. Dig this here, y'all. She said, as a woman, you need to go be your own person first. Yeah. Y'all pay attention to this. Pay attention to it. Be your own person first. Go build your own career first. And after you've become the woman you want to become, then, if it strikes your fancy, get married and have a family. Do everything else first. Now, you can say whatever you want to say, but when I started paying attention to the stuff she's telling me, she's giving me an ideal of where family fits with her. Now, she said, when I was going into the White House, I wanted to make sure my girls was going to be okay with everything because she got 2 daughters. She said that was one of her main priorities. I want to make sure that what we're about to take on as a couple is not going to harm my girls in any negative way. But then you literally said, this same interview, y'all, same interview, go be the woman you want to be first. Then, after you satisfied, then worry about getting a man and having a family. But you know what she also said? She said, stuff is the patriarchy's fault. And then you know what she said? She said, we ask young ladies on a regular basis, but do you have a boyfriend yet? Are you seeing anyone? Okay. A competition is going on. You see on social media, this particular person got married. That particular person got married. The pressure is on. It's building up. But it's the patriarchy's fault. Shout out to Bucket. Bucket, you making a very strong statement right here, y'all. You making a very strong statement right here. He said, I'd rather clean chitlins than listen to her. And I'm going to say that's a very strong statement over here at the Roger Report Live. I believe I've said it before. So I'm going to definitely say it again. I don't know if I said it on air for sure, but I'm going to tell you what it is, y'all. I don't eat chitlins, man. I don't eat chitlins. And I know for some black folks, that's a crime. Roger, don't eat chitlins. You know what I did when I was introduced to chitlins, y'all? I walked into the crib, man. I walked into the crib and they was cleaning the chitlins, y'all. But we was doing like a family event. I'm talking about my mama was in there. I had some aunties in there. My sisters might have been in there. It was a bunch of women in the kitchen, man. They was working it out with them chitlins. But you know what I did? I came in. I smelled them things. I said, what's that? They said, it's chitlins. It was over with for me, y'all. I was down for the count, man. I was down for the count, man. I don't want no smoke with chitlins, man. Real talk, okay? I don't want no smoke with chitlins. Now, hey, shout out to all y'all that love them. Shout out to all y'all that love them. And I'm sure y'all was introduced to them things in a way that it was not introduced to me. Because my first memory of chitlins, my introduction, was walking in and smelling what I smell. And they said, this chitlins. Now, I don't know how old I was. I just know I was a little kid. But it was over with for me, y'all. It was over with. Now, I know chitlins is good. A lot of folks done said it. They said you got to put some hot sauce on it and all that good stuff. But I'm saying, shout out to all the people who know how to prepare chitlins for the fam, y'all. Because I know it's many black folks doing this around the country. I know y'all probably it's a good amount of folks doing it around the world. Shout out to what y'all go through to get them chitlins ready for the fam, y'all. Real talk. Real talk. Shout out to every sister. Okay, I know men gonna do it, but shout out to, since we dealing with Michelle Obama today, shout out to every sister that prepares some chitlins for the fam. You know, I salute you. Real talk, y'all. I salute you. All right? Real talk. Okay? And I gotta salute every woman for this. Why? Because Michelle Obama said prioritize everything but your family. Okay? That's what Michelle said. So I know Michelle ain't want to make no chitlins. Michelle said she was so happy at that phase when her daughters used to eat food that you just open up the little jar. You know, you like, you know what I'm saying? Y'all know all them different little baby food. You just open up the jar and it'd be some mushed up carrots or peas or something. She said that was a great time for her. She ain't got to breastfeed and she ain't got to cook. That was fantastic for her. I said, wow, that's interesting. That's interesting. So you ain't got to breastfeed, nor do you have to cook. I guess Barack is on his own. That's what that's what I heard. I guess Barack is on his own. Okay, because she ain't got to breastfeed. She ain't got to cook. Barack gonna have to figure it out. It is what it is. But y'all, I'm telling y'all, Michelle Obama was the smoothest. I mean, this was the smoothest feminist conversation I have heard to this day, y'all. She was smooth with it, y'all. You know, when they blame the patriarchy for stuff, look, y'all, they talking about a woman. You know, it's hypothetical, right? A woman, somehow she gets information about a job opening, right? She's going to apply for the job. She wants to interview for this job. But she's told something about the manager. Manager's a male, okay? The manager's a male, all right? And they say he's misogynistic. They literally use the term misogynistic a few times in this thing, y'all. And she said, well, what do you do as a woman? Well, what would you advise a young lady to do? Because the man is being a man and he likes attractive women, and you believe you can give yourself an edge if you wear the dress and come off as more feminine. You know, or you could just wear some pants, okay? And you may not have that advantage of wearing the dress. You don't necessarily want to appeal to the boss because the boss basically a creep because he like women. He's a heterosexual male that likes women. So now he's a creep because he like women. Okay? That's how they played it. It was a hypothetical about how she would advise young ladies. So the man who's going to do the job interviewing, he a creep, but you believe you could get an advantage if you wear the dress. All right? You believe you can get an advantage if you wear this dress instead of something like a pantsuit or some other type of outfit. She said, would you advise young ladies to wear the dress or to come dressed in a different way? Now, she went into this thing about, you know, you got to look at what your circumstances are. It's not like you the first lady of Chicago. excuse me, the first lady of the United States, and you know, can you pay your rent? She said, you know, we all got to make compromises. Now, I just found that to be very interesting that the guy got to be a creep. You know, the host was saying, we know, should you wear like a tighter top? So basically what they said, now this is what they really said. Now they discussing how women have it hard. That's what they're discussing, how women have it harder and men just don't get it. But what you literally did was pose a question on a woman could get a better chance at a job interview if she dressed slightly more attractive, and now she gets better results. That's what she said. This is how they explain how hard it is to be a woman. This was their explanation of how hard it is to be a woman. So if I'm a woman and I want a job, you know, I can increase my chances of being employed because I wear the right dress. And that's your definition of hard. If I put on the right top, I'll have a better chance of getting a job. That's the hard part, y'all. As men, we not gonna understand how hard that is, that if we just put on the right outfit, we can increase our chances of being employed. You a young man going into the job market, okay? You talking to people that you don't know. You know, I don't know what's technically wrong with the man that he finds women attractive. He's a heterosexual man. I guess you can't be heterosexual. And I can increase my chance of getting a job simply because I put on the right outfit. Not because of what I got on my resume. Not because of my experience. It's hard for me if I'm a woman because I can pick the right outfit and increase my chance of being employed. That's hard. I don't get it. She right, y'all. She 100% correct. I don't get it. Okay? I don't get it. I don't understand how that's hard. If I pick the right outfit, I increase my chances of being employed. Because you know what? Ain't nobody ever told me. They ain't never told me, well, if you'd pick the right outfit, I'd have gave you this job. That ain't never been implied. Technically, it ain't really ever been suggested. You know, I guess the best a man gonna get is, hey, when you go to a job interview, dress appropriately. Don't go in there with a t-shirt and jeans on. That's about the best we gonna get. and I have to look at women and acknowledge something is hard because the person who's hiring is a male, and she could get a better chance of being employed because she wore the right dress. That's the hard part. Lord have mercy. And she said that was, they said it like it was a real problem, y'all. Like it was some kind of real problem. All I gotta do is put on the right outfit and I'm gonna get out of here, man. You right. I ain't gonna never catch the difficulties of putting on the right outfit to help me get a job. And no, you're right. I'm never gonna figure that one out. Okay? I'm never gonna figure that out. Now, did they say the man was sexually harassing him? They didn't even suggest that. He was just a man. Okay. Okay. But they say, you know, you heard some things about the man. They didn't really explain what they heard. Well, not no way that he would be a creep or anything like that. Now, shout out to White Skinny Man Cave. Appreciate the super chat, my brother. White Skinny Man Cave says, Roger, is she saying be a 304 until you find yourself, then start a family? Now, I'm going to tell you this. She didn't come out and say it that way. She didn't say it that way. But she did say, make sure you establish yourself first before you look to be part of a family. Now, I don't know what she wants those women to do while they're establishing themselves first. I don't get what that thing would be, you know. Now, I'm just going to say, realistically speaking, if you're not in a family, what are you actually going to be doing out here besides having sex with multiple different men? I don't know what a young lady is going to do. Okay. Unless she's that virgin, which a lot of women don't even get to make a choice about virginity because they gave that up when they was girls. So you can't decide about virginity as a woman if you don't even have it in your womanhood. Okay, let's keep that real. How can a woman even decide to be a virgin when she gave it up as a child? So a woman don't even get to have that conversation. So what she wants women to do once they're already sexually active, but keep putting off a family until you establish yourself as a person you want to be and establish yourself in the career the way you want to establish, then you go get a family as if men's supposed to wait on you. I mean, this the greatest feminist walking the planet right now, y'all. And she said it in a way that you will believe she means no harm. And that's real talk. But I'm going to slow down real quick because Black Ooh is here. Your words of wisdom are definitely going to be welcome. But this woman, she's something else. That's all I'm going to say, y'all. She's something else. And I'm going to give Black Ooh the flow. You have the flow, my brother. Go right ahead.
Yeah, Roger, thanks for having me. I hope you're doing well. I hope the folks in the public chat are well. First of all, kudos and applause to you for listening through that 2 hours of feminist gobbledygook. I don't have I'm too old. As Danny Glover or Sergeant Murtaugh famously said in Lethal Weapons, I'm too old for this shit. Shout out to the great Danny Glover for giving us that timeless quote. I'm too old to listen to her, but let me offer to you and to the people, the men who are listening, men and women who are listening in the public chat. This is a prime tool to use in at least in this particular form of social media. The transcript is a very valuable tool in this particular form of social media. And the transcript is basically the full text version of what is presented in the video. And so what I did was, rather than listen to all of this crap, I just rifled through the transcript. And there were some rather remarkable things that I would say were not in the transcript. First of all, in that whole 2 hours, she mentioned marriage twice. She mentioned in the context of what you recently alluded to, and that is, quote, I would love our wisdom and advice of like, how do we prioritize for finding fulfillment within ourselves, as you alluded to, before fulfillment in a marriage. That's the one time she mentioned marriage. And then the other time she says, the only thing you really can control is you in the world and even in my marriage. So everything, there was no conversation at all about marriage, about sustaining a marriage, sustaining a union, at all. That was not at all important to her. But this is even more telling. And again, I would not have been able to sit through this enough to clearly discern this. In this 2-hour interview, she does not mention Black people. She does not mention Black men. She don't even mention Black women. in a 2-hour discussion, the only quote black woman who have ever been First Lady of the United States has a 2-hour interview, and even about feminism. I mean, to my knowledge, black women count as feminists too, right? So
You would think.
even and she don't even mention black. She does not mention black people at all in this 2-hour discussion. Now you got black women all throughout social media crying about homelessness, losing their jobs, where they're going to live, how they're going to get their next meal, their kids sleeping in cars all over the country, particularly during a rather harsh winter right now. She has a 2-hour speech. There were 1.5 million people who listened to that video, heard what was listed there. No reference at all to black people, even and including especially black women and girls. I find that, I am amazed by that. So here's a lesson to you black women who are listening to me right now. What you have been exposed to is an evil game of musical chairs. And you didn't know you were in the game of musical chairs. But the Michelle Obamas, they know that. And the evil game is this. There are 100 of you, and there are 5 or at the most 10 chairs. You didn't know that when you started playing the game. The Michelle Obamas knew that. So you start playing this game. You think you're going to get a chair with Michelle, but Michelle's already been assigned to that chair. She was assigned to that chair when she went to Princeton. Then she definitely was assigned to that chair when she went to Harvard Law School. And then she was definitely assigned to that chair when she married another Harvard Law graduate, Barack Obama. Her ass was covered. She sold you all out in the process. That's a part of the deal. Feeding you all this bullshit. Not at all conveying that black people, black women need to support black men need to support black women and families. That's not important to her at all. Damn y'all being stuck out in the cold, homeless or whatever. Fuck that. That's not a part of her, quote, feminist agenda. That whole thing was about really her currying favor and support and probably subscribers of white upper middle class women. That's what the purpose of that video was about.
Now, there's nothing I heard in that video that would contradict what you just said. Nothing at all. You know. So yeah, I got to say your assessment is right on. Right on. Because man, it didn't even cross a mind, it seemed like. It didn't even cross a mind. You know, now I will say that again, y'all, they did say that this particular conversation was for women and girls. So if you expecting anything to come up, if y'all got any questions about what she said about men or boys, you know, where they need some help or something like, it didn't come up at all. It didn't come. The true reference to men was the fact that you're not creating a world where your daughter can be CEO. That's what they wanted the men to really walk away with. Because they did make it plain that we need men's help. We're not going to be able to just to be the feminists we are and just take stuff over. No, that's not what we're going to be able to do. What we need is for men to get out here, get on the front lines, and help us take all the stuff that we want to take. We want to take your position, you know? And you know what? As a man, if you have a daughter, you should be on board with knocking off men so women can be CEOs. You're supposed to be on board with that, okay? Because you love your daughter. And if you love your daughter, how can you not knock over a man so your daughter can be CEO? What kind of love is that? But I'm going to slow down real quick because AB Media then came up. AB Media, good to have you, brother. You got the flow.
What's going on, Roger? Can y'all hear me clearly?
Yes, sir. We hear you fine.
Michelle Obama, huh? I know I'm not necessarily talking to the brothers on this panel, and certainly most of them in the chat, but this goes to the black men who feel like they're obligated to, have to listen to that bullshit. Sooner or later, you're going to have to grow a pair of balls and tell these women, we're not going to kiss the Democrat Party's ass for you. We're not going to kiss the feminist ass for you. You either get that or you go kick rocks. There are 4 billion other coochies on the planet. We don't have to deal with you.
Okay. Strong and sweet, I guess. Strong and sweet. Now, I'm going to say in this particular one, y'all, well, I'm going to say, I guess this was more of a nonpartisan interview. I would say that because they specifically said they didn't want to talk politics in this particular one. Now, of course, she did mention, she has no interest in being president. She said that we had some qualified ones already available and threw Kamala Harris's name there. That's her political opinion. Kamala Harris is a qualified candidate, Well, Michelle says she good. She good with Kamala. That's what Michelle says.
At this point, if Michelle Obama is okay with promoting these women to be single for the rest of their lives, that's on her. She's the one that got to stand before God and answer for that.
Well, I'm gonna say she definitely was trying to push that envelope because it was all about what women are supposed to be able to do. And they kept making references to patriarchy. And I'm listening to the stuff they said, and I'm like, what does this got to do with men? Okay. They said things like, social media is the newest way women are being attacked. As if that ain't the newest way for everybody who gets attacked for any reason. Okay, yeah, because it didn't exist 20 years ago. Okay. Maybe it existed for 20 now, but it's a newer thing when it comes down to it. Okay, and like I said, social media kind of took off around 2014. Yeah, okay, so it's a new way to attack women, but it's also a new way to attack men. It's a new way to attack blacks. It's a new way to attack gays. It's a new way to attack homeless folk. It's a new way to attack any particular demographic you want to say, because it's just a newer thing. That's all there is to it. But she did say, you need to be your own woman first. She said women are pressuring men. Excuse me, women are pressuring girls just by simply asking them, do you have a boyfriend or are you seeing anyone? And she blamed patriarchy for it. Now I'm sitting there listening to them.
If she wants to promote the majority of women being single for the rest of their lives, go right ahead.
Well, no. This what make her so cold. She never said she was suggesting that they be single. She just said do all these other different things before you get married. Okay. She never said you're gonna end up single.
If she want to live with letting 50% of women in general be single, pushing this kind of crap, let her go on and do it.
Well, to me, that's what makes her the world's greatest feminist. She never, ever put the idea out that you're not going to have a husband at the end of the day. Just do all this other stuff first. And why are we even having conversation with young ladies saying, are you seeing anyone? That's pressure. That's what she said. This is like putting pressure on women on what they have to do. They were saying some amazing stuff, y'all. Amazing stuff. Because women ask women about who they messing with, but somehow that's a problem because of patriarchy.
Right.
But I'm listening to you. You're a woman, and you saying amongst women, y'all asking each other, are you seeing anyone yet? What they got to do? What they got to do with men? Period. They ain't got nothing to do with men. A man not even involved in these situations. You're asking some other woman, is she seeing someone? And then they say, well, you know, social media, this new thing. So now you have to see the receipts of this particular woman who's gotten engaged or this particular woman who's gotten married. And now there's more pressure on you. Where the pressure coming from? Because it sounds like it's coming from women. I heard what she said. I also heard them blame patriarchy, but I heard what she said. If you feel pressure because your friend got married, I don't understand what this pressure has anything to do with men. Because men ain't pressure nobody. The last thing men are being told to do is pressure a woman to do anything. Let's be real about that. If people think you pressure a woman to do anything, if you pressure a woman to make a sandwich, people gonna look at you like you crazy. Who is you to tell her to make that sandwich? Heck, they don't want you pressuring women, and the women work for you. You can't, as a manager, pressure a woman to make a Big Mac at McDonald's. People gonna look at you crazy. You know. Now, shout out to Jerome Payne. Appreciate you, my brother. He says, when are black women going to put that white man's Kool-Aid down and realize the damage they cause to the black family / community?
Until it's way too late.
You know what? I'm gonna suggest something to you. She already know. She just don't care. Okay. I think black men got to hang up the idea that black women care about y'all like that. Okay, because when you ask that question, bro, don't. My bad. Say it again.
A lot of them probably don't. It is what it is.
Yeah. You waiting on something. You waiting on her to realize something that's already been realized. It already happened, bro. They know what they. I mean, we got to be realistic with ourselves. How old can a woman be before she starts to realize things that are going on in the world? How old can she be? The way she moves about the world is to manipulate. I'm not saying it's bad or good. I'm saying that's just a reality of women. They move about the world in a manipulation way so they can get other people to give them the things that they want to have so they don't ever have to fight for them. The same way Michelle literally said to men, if you don't create a world where your daughter becomes CEO, then you lied to her. That's manipulation. That's going after men's heartstrings so they can look at their daughter and figure out some kind of way I got to knock a man off so my daughter can be CEO. Because that's the only thing you can mean is knock some man out of his position, because it's legal for any woman to have her own company and put herself as CEO. You ain't got to work for anybody in this country. You can. A lot of us do. But the reality is you ain't got to work for nobody here. You in America. She was the first lady of America. She know good and well ain't no woman got to work for anybody if she don't want to. She can work for herself. Or she can just not work at all. But for her to comfortably not work, more than likely, you got to build a family. Or I guess Michelle just wants them to have babies and get on government assistance. Maybe that's what she meant. You know, shout out to Perfect Timing Podcast. Always good to see you, brother. Always good to see you. He said, I recall a recent high-profile story calling out women for having a boyfriend. They equate relationships to bring Republicans. Well, you know what, Perfect Timing? I'm just gonna say it does sound crazy to be 37 years old and have a boyfriend. It does sound crazy, but if one of the most high-profile women is out here telling women and girls to do everything else before you get a husband, I can understand how a 37-year-old ends up with a boyfriend instead of a husband. And the cold part is she married already. Okay. She got the tall guy already. Okay. She got the tall guy already. Because if my memory's correct, Barack is over 6 feet. Okay. She got the smooth brother already. Because we can say a lot about Barack, but we can't say the man ain't smooth. Barack definitely a smooth brother at the end of the day. Okay. You ain't got to like his politics, but you can't say he ain't smooth, you know. And she got the other guy who's an Ivy Leaguer. So while she got all these things that women would want to be able to brag that they got, the tall guy with the nice smile who went to Ivy League, and that's taking President of the United States off the table. That's taking that off the table. Mm-hmm. And she telling other young ladies and girls, no, be your own person first. And only after you're comfortable in your own womanhood, in your own career, then you can talk to somebody about marriage possibly being on the table, if that tickles your fancy. Mm-hmm. Now, this is a married woman. Okay? That's why it's so dangerous. Now, Michelle is the world's greatest feminist right now. And that's because she's the most dangerous feminist right now. She's saying it from a seat that other women can't even say it from. She's saying it as a former first lady. Other women can do a whole lot. I mean, Oprah done had a great career, but Oprah ain't no former first lady. It's that simple at the end of the day. Oprah, her voice has weight. It still has some weight with younger people because a lot of their mamas respect Oprah. Mm-hmm. So they be like, nah, when Oprah talk, you roll with it. Oprah done had our back for decades. You roll with anything Oprah say. So they got some respect for Oprah, even though they don't quite know Oprah the way their mamas or their grandmamas know her.
To your point, Raj, I've always said one of the most dangerous gynocrats you have to look out for is the married ones. They are far worse than the single ones. The married ones are far worse.
Well, Michelle made it clear she ain't no punk, bro. Because when I sat through this, and I'm sitting there like, this married woman is saying all this stuff and blaming patriarchy for stuff that don't have nothing to do with men. Mm-hmm. And she did a fantastic job. See, and that's the reality. See, I know how to see somebody doing some mess, but I can still understand they did the mess in a great, charismatic way. She was fantastic, y'all. The women ate this up. You go to the comment section, they loving this. This is what the women say, this gave them life, y'all. That's what this did for them. This gave them life. Okay? Michelle wasn't playing with this one, y'all. She wasn't.
Well, they could get a vibrator with that too.
Well, I mean, that's gonna be in some of their futures. If they buy into this, that's definitely gonna be in some of their future. That's real talk.
I'm just being upfront. I'm like, okay, go get. I'm not putting up with this shit. Go get a vibrator.
All right. Now shout out to Jerome Payne again. He said, no, Roger. It's your job as a man to push women to the forefront at men's expense. F Tyrone and Jermaine, SYSBM. Well, you know what? You know what, Jerome? That's basically what she said. As a man, and she specifically came after the men with daughters, y'all. She specifically came after them, because she said it for men in general, but she really she shamed the men with daughters, man. If you got a daughter and your daughter don't become CEO, basically you failed as a father, man. I mean, you talk about hitting below the belt. I think that's hitting below the belt right there. So now every man who got a daughter got to somehow get his daughter into a CEO position. Now, he may have never been a CEO himself. He may have never even been at a C-suite. He may have never even cleaned the shoes of a man that's been in the C-suite. But he now has a responsibility to make his daughter a CEO, or he lied to his daughter. His baby girl. His little missus that he want to protect and provide for. As a man, he's not a man until he can look into her eyes while she holds this CEO position that he didn't even have. That's what he got to do, y'all. And I'm telling you, she was so smooth with it. It's crazy. She was smooth with it, y'all. Super smooth.
So let me get this straight. Michelle Obama says you're a failure as a father if you don't put your daughter in a position to be single and lonely and possibly ruin a good company like Carla Fiorina did with HP, you're not a good father if you don't do that.
Well, see, that's how you taking it. That's how you taking it. What she said was CEO. Now you trying to bring up whether she qualified or not. I don't think that was necessarily what Michelle was saying. Okay. See, now you talking about qualifications and outcome and performance. I don't think she was pushing all that in it. Okay. And at the end of the day, I guess we supposed to make, we as men should make her outcome great, no matter what she does. Like I guess we got to make the right outcome when she's put in that position, CEO. We as men got to make sure she look qualified. Just is what it is, And if you got a daughter and this don't happen, this is your fault. But let me slow down because usual business then came up. So usual business, you have the flow, my brother. You have the flow.
I didn't see I just came in here, so I really didn't see the video. But I did see part of the interview earlier through other bits and pieces. So I will say that much. But when it comes to Michelle Obama is I'm gonna call it the wicked women of the West, right? I don't know if you're the wicked witch of the West. I think that's a proper terminology, right? She is the wicked woman of the West, right? Because she clearly knows the lies. She is one of the I ain't gonna say the main, but she is one of the puppeteers behind the closet, right? And she is telling your little girl to quote unquote to hoe herself out. Because realistically, that's what you really tell. She's really telling her daughters to go. She's not telling her daughters. She's telling your daughters. Repeat this. Her daughters will be well kept after and fine, and they will be well protected. She just basically told your daughters to go ahead and hold themselves out. And when they quote unquote finish holding themselves out and they try to find themselves a quality man and there's no one there, she basically pimping your daughter and stuff, but she pimping it big style. But she ain't pimping just a couple daughters that you see on TV. No, she pimping an entire nations of daughters. So I mean, if you really gonna pimp, mama go ahead and go hard though. So ain't no pimping bigger than goddamn nation pimping, I guess.
Well, I'm glad you saw bits and pieces of the video. Now I'm gonna say I didn't put the video in the link because if I put in the link, anybody who joins the panel, I want them to actually see the links before they come up here and start talking. But I was like, I'm not putting this 2 hours. I'm not gonna put this 2 hours. I was like, boy, it's one thing for me to watch it because I'm the host, but to do the whole thing, I can't require the other folks to listen to her and this other lady for 2 hours. Shout out to Afro Merchant. He said, "Was there a link video?" No, I didn't put a link. I didn't put a link in the video because that is telling anybody who joins the panel they got to watch the links before they come up. So I didn't put a link to the video because I didn't want the other guys to have to watch the 2 hours. Now, if they saw some of it, they kind of knew some stuff that was going on. I'm gonna say shout out to Black Uru who gave us a great clue. That was some great wisdom to, get the transcript so you can kind of look through it and look for certain things. That was a very wise move on his part. Great idea. Don't let that idea go to waste, y'all. Now, me, I'm the host, so it's like I gotta, for me to come out with the integrity I believe I'm supposed to have. Now I gotta watch the whole thing. I have to. It was a monster, y'all. It was a monster. It was tough to get through. It was definitely tough to get through. And when you listen to these women make the complaints that they made, okay, they talked about how hard it is to be a woman because, and this is not a joke, y'all. This is not a joke. It's hard to be a woman because when Barack was running for president, Michelle would show up places, or when she became president, but when Barack became president, she was the first lady. She said she would go somewhere and do a speech or something like that. And then, she'll read articles or articles would be presented to her. And they talked about the way she dressed. This is this is a difficulty that women go through that men wouldn't understand. She makes a speech and they talk about the way she's dressed. This is a difficulty for women.
Roger. I mean, what should we do, bro? I mean, her blouse ain't matching her pants right now, bro. That color is last season. Man, bro, I don't know how she gonna handle that, bro. Now, we're not gonna add in the fact that she got $50 million in the bank, though. We're not gonna add that. We're not gonna add in the fact that, quote unquote, she can get anybody in this country killed necessarily with a head nod necessarily, right? And we're not gonna add in the fact that, quote unquote, she can go to any store and walk out with anything, and who gonna actually stop her? Repeat this. If Michelle Obama comes to your store, who gonna actually stop her, bro? So I'm gonna go ahead and say that she had a very, very hard life, and we just don't understand.
Now see, usually been the way you saying this. It's like the lady said on the show. See, this is why Michelle Obama had to write that book. You don't get it. You don't understand how tough it is for her to be going around the country as the potential first Black woman to be the first lady, or to actually have your husband won the election and to be invited to all these places to speak, and then people talk about the clothes she got on. You know, that's a difficult task for a woman, because women who like fashion will discuss women in fashion. This is bad.
Hey man, I'm confused because at the end of the day, man, that's the only woman, like I said, who can walk in your store and walk out, and you can't do nothing about that, bro. Like I don't think you ever got walked down, see what I'm saying? Well, and high heel boots, you know what I'm saying, and confidence, and you know what I mean? Because she would walk in your store. I guarantee it, bro. She can pick up your TV and walk right out that motherfucker, and I guarantee you're not gonna stop her.
I mean, you telling the hard truth right there, brother, because I don't even know how you would approach even suggesting she be stopped.
You know what, ma'am? Oh, you know what? You know what, ma'am? I got my security job, but you know what? I think I'm gonna go ahead and arrest. Michelle Obama? Man, you can come into this back room with me before you even get your hand out, bro. I guarantee you, it's gonna be 5 laser beams pointing at your head,
bro. I done did security before. If a president was to show up or a first lady was to show up, the only thing you doing as security is getting out the way. What you gonna do is cooperate. That's what you gonna do.
Cooperate, bro. If she say she want an extra bucket because she want an extra 5 TVs, nigga, you gonna move out the goddamn way and get an extra 5 TVs, bro.
If she tell me I'm a helper, that's what I'm gonna do.
I'm a helper, goddamn it. Exactly, bro.
That's all I'm gonna do. She tell me to help. I'm a young man, grab these bags. Yes, Miss First Lady.
Yes, Miss First Lady. Like, legitimately, bro, that's the only woman I know in the world that can slap me and probably get away with it.
Now, ain't no problem. I'm gonna have to just take that one on the chin. I ain't gonna tell you what you gonna do, but I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do. That would have been the one I just took on the chin. Okay.
The reason I said probably, bro, because see what I'm saying, I know me, I'm gonna still go for it, but I probably ain't gonna make it. So I said probably. I gave my chest. See, I know me, I'm gonna still lunge, but I know I ain't gonna make it. So I said probably.
Yeah, I get you. I'm gonna say my small encounter with a Secret Service agent made me really. He made me think about all the stuff the government can do. It was like, man, I don't even want all this smoke. It ain't even that serious. It ain't even that serious. So yeah, for me, if she smacked me, I'm gonna have to eat that one. It ain't because of her, because I don't want all the extra stuff that come behind her. That's what the real story is. All that stuff that's gonna come behind. It ain't gonna even be worth it to me. Shout out to Jerome Payne one more again. Appreciate you, my brother. He says, did need to see this video when Black women talking. I know they usually when Black women talking, I know they're usually not they're usually not helping anyone but themselves. Hashtag Adam can't check Eve, boo. Hashtag why all these apples riding? Hashtag no accountability tax. Shout out to you, my brother, and shout out for them hashtags. and you about right. You about right. But now I'm gonna say, because I'm being fair. They did say this specific interview was going to be basically about women and girls. They did say that specifically. So, I don't know if that helps at all, but they did specifically say that. But I'm going to give the flow to my main man, Roger. Roger's Crab Clusters Plug. That's a great name.
Bro, what the hell? What?
No. My favorite is, one of my favorites is crab legs. So he cool with that. If he
I was like, hold on now, what you doing out here, Roger, boy?
Yeah, I rocks with some crab legs. That's real talk. But Roger's Crab Cluster Plug. You have the flow, my brother. You have the flow.
What's up, Roger? What's up, panel chat?
How you doing, brother?
Michelle is nothing but controlled opposition. Michelle, in fact, is an actual divester. I mean, if you look at the president, the former president, his mama was white, and he was raised by his white grandfather and grandmother. So she actually got a dark-skinned white man. That's all it is. She's just controlled opposition. So I wouldn't be surprised if his daughters married white men.
Oh, we already know that, bro. We not playing that game.
She couldn't get a pale white man, so she got a dark white man. She got her divester dreams on.
Well, honestly, I honestly perceive, this is just my perception, when Barack Obama became president of the United States, it was already a done deal for what? And now I'm drawing blank on the names. Sasha and what's the other one? Is it Melina or something? I'm drawing blank on the names, but yeah, I already figured them girls will be married to white men. It just is what it is, because Barack had became president of the United States, and as I've said before, if Barack had a son, he wouldn't even be qualified to be president of the United States, because his son would have his last name. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, those young ladies' names gonna be something different. It's the Obama will be gone. So no. There was never even a shot that they were gonna marry any black men. That's been predetermined, whether they like it or not. I'm pretty sure of that. And in case they ever hit us one day, no, I'm saying that's predetermined. It is what it is. If either one of y'all marry a black man, I'm gonna be 100% shocked. I don't even think y'all got a real choice, and that's real talk. I don't even believe they have a real choice. They will have certain white men presented to them, and they're gonna have to take what they can get, or they're gonna take whoever picks them. It's gonna be more something like that. But ain't no way in the world they finna end up with no black man. I don't care what black man he was talking about. They can't marry Michael B. Jordan. It's not happening. Okay. So I don't care how qualified the man is, how famous he is, how rich he is, none of that. They couldn't marry Michael B. Jordan right now. He the it guy for Hollywood. He wouldn't even make it. So no, it's not happening. Okay. Now I've been right about a lot of stuff. That's all I'm saying. As time goes on, you're gonna see I'm right about this one too. But that's an interesting way you put it about she got a dark-skinned white man. And you know what? You do make a point, because Barack Obama was raised by some white folks. It just is what it is. Some older white folks. Folks that in a time it was cool to be openly racist. People who was involved in those kind of times. So it just is what it is.
And Roger and chat, I urge all of y'all, just look at who Barack's white grandfather was and what he did. And that would explain everything.
See, now you're giving us homework. But you know what? Might as well check into it. Though. So I definitely get what you're saying. And again, Barack did a good thing to marry Michelle from a political career perspective, because again, if he'd been married to somebody who wasn't a black woman, I doubt he would be the first black president of the United States. That probably wasn't gonna happen. Now the thing is, I understand that relationship a lot more. Well, go ahead. Say it again.
Correction. Obama was the second black president.
Well, the first acknowledged. I'll say that because
Bill Clinton was the first black president, Roger.
Oh.
Okay, never mind. Never mind.
Well, I've heard about a few gentlemen that was doing stuff between 1776 and 1789, but they're not considered the first presidents of the United States. And maybe George Washington was the first president of the United States because technically the United States was called other things before it was called the United States. So maybe George Washington was the first president based on what they changed the country into. Because we used to be the
13 colonies.
Yeah, the 13 colonies had an official name. I can't think what that is now. I'm drawing blanks today, but they had an official name as well. And it switched from being that to the United States of America. So maybe George Washington truly was, between 1776 and 1789. I just, one day I just said 1789. 1776. And I started thinking, I said, that sounded like 13 years. Who was running this joint for 13 years? Yeah, shout out to MJD the second. He said the Continental Congress. Yeah, we did have a Continental Congress, before things got switched over to being the United States of America as we know it today. So we did go through some changes. So I guess it does depend on context. So he might actually be the first black man of the United States of America being what it is. It could have happened, but I still find it hard to believe that they said the United States of America was established in 1776. I just got a question on who was in charge for the 13 years. That's all. But it is what it is. We're going to move on. But I'm going to say I understand what I've been seeing about Michelle Obama a lot more clearly after sit down and listen to her in this interview for just about 2 hours. An hour, 57 minutes and some seconds, y'all. This was long and it was rough. And I didn't get through it in one take, y'all. No, I could. It was hard. Okay.
I'm so sorry.
No, it was hard because this is what I'm saying. You got to understand the stuff they presented was being tough. When you as a woman have to make a speech because you're the first lady of the United States, and then people start talking about your outfit, this is bad some kind of way. Now, I'm not going to say ain't no men involved in fashion. We know that there's a lot of gay men in there based on what people say. There could be some straight men kind of involved in fashion and things. I mean, there definitely have been some because there's been some great black clothes designers. You know what I'm saying? But fashion mostly goes with women. Women are really into fashion. So now I'm a man that knows women are into fashion. And I sat there and heard two ladies discuss how hard it is for a woman who's in a particular spot in life, being the first lady of the United States, and even while they was campaigning and was on her way to becoming first lady of the United States, for people to talk about her clothes, I couldn't figure out what the problem was. Because women are into fashion. They didn't say her clothes was terrible per se. She just said they talked about her clothes. What woman don't want attention and don't want people to say stuff about her outfit? What woman doesn't want other women to comment about her outfit? Who are these women? I mean, for real.
By women, you mean her mother necessarily? Because that seems like some shit her mother would say. I think she necessarily is using the word mother as in the standstill for quote unquote women. Because if I know anything about quote unquote Michelle Obama that I do know of, her mom was on her ass a lot, and you know how them quote unquote gynocrats be.
But she was talking about people writing articles and things. She was talking about getting attention from the public. I'm not saying she didn't include her mother too, but she did literally talk about public attention she received because she went somewhere to give a speech. Now, that doesn't mean people ignore whatever she said in the speech. But what woman don't want to have their outfit discussed? Like, ain't that something? Is it just me, or am I the only person who see women getting dressed so they can go out into a public event and be acknowledged and people talk about how nice their outfit was? Do women not like this all of a sudden? Am I the last person? Am I out the loop? You know what I'm saying? Because I thought women liked that. That's what I thought. Maybe I don't know no better now. Do women not like people complimenting their clothes anymore? Is that not why they dress up for the red carpet? but maybe that's just me. But I'm gonna hold fast because the Great Black Reset has joined us. So I'm gonna go ahead and give him the mic. And while he's talking, I'm gonna be over here in bewilderment, trying to figure out when women stop liking getting compliments on clothes. Go ahead, Great Black Reset.
Fellas, it's good to hear y'all voice today. Now, I'm gonna tell you right now, I am getting ready to get on a flight headed to Washington D.C. So we will not be having y'all talk about this wonderful woman the way that y'all talk about it, because I would like my plane to land just the way it took off, intact, sir, intact. Sir, this woman is a little confused about what it is that she desires and what other women should have. But we gonna pray for Michelle Obama today and pray that she gets her mind right, you know. But she's a wonderful woman. I want to say that. I want to say that. However, you know,
So you mean the perm and got to it then, bro? So the perm and get the whiskey soak it inside and soak it into her head again. That's what I'm saying.
No,
see, they go usual business again. I'm not flying into Atlanta. I'm flying into DC. You know, going too hard, brother. You make me feel like you don't care about it.
I care about you, bro. So that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Now, what I'm saying is, right, you saying she need to get her mind right now. That's what you said. Now, what I'm saying is, we do know perms can damage your brain, right? So the question is, right, we've seen her with a lot of straight hair. So can the possibility, main word possibility, could the perm be affecting her brain?
I think what Great Black Reset is saying, I want to land safely. I don't need your help right now. I think that's what
come on, man. I got good credit. I don't need no co-signer. Y'all talking reckless today, sir. Let's have this chat tomorrow.
Let that man land safely, man. Let that man land
safely. Give me a couple of hours, man. Hold on. No, but you guys have come up with some awesome points, man. And this is where we're at, man. I think it's a wrap, bro. I think it's a wrap. When you have the woman who was married to the leader, who is married to one of the leaders of the free world, speaking like this, bro, and talking about you got to go out and make all these accomplishments and stuff. I mean, we just talked about this a few shows ago that when you go out and get all these accomplishments, it makes you more difficult to be married to. It makes you more difficult to want to be married to. She's talking from a place that's not even real. She don't even live in the real world, man. We got to start talking about these people that are living lives that are not even in the real world, bro. She don't have the problems we have.
Oh, she in the real world. I guarantee, because she know for a fact, man. She can go to any store and take all your goddamn product and walk out there, and she know goddamn damn well you ain't gonna stop her. So she live in the real world, bro.
Well, I think he makes a fine point that the average woman can't just do that. But I can definitely tell you, if I was working security at a store and Michelle came in there and got anything, which could have happened to me because, you know, I was in Chicago, you know what I'm saying? Wasn't nowhere in the world I was going to fix my lips to say nothing to her. Point blank, period. You know, it just is what it is. You know, if somebody would have said something to me about, why you let her just walk out the, that's Michelle Obama. What you want me to do?
What you want me to do about it?
You stop her. I ain't stopping her. That's all I'm going to put on the record. You stop her. I ain't stopping her.
Exactly. You go jump on go jump on Michelle and see if you ain't gonna be in goddamn Guantanamo Bay by the end of the month, bro.
It's way too many problems, y'all. It's way too many problems. I'm gonna say again, y'all. I went to the house because somebody just said, yeah, you know, somebody basically kind of told me what a house was that they had in Chicago. So I'm just being curious, and I want to look at the house that a president would own. You know what I'm saying? That's all it really was. And like I said, when I walked by the house, man, well, when I walked to the block the house was on, the Secret Service talked to me. And lucky I had a black man. I'm going to say shout out to that brother. That brother say, man, you don't want this smoke. You don't want to be on record trying to figure out where the president lived. Like you know, I mean, when he made me really think about it from a governmental perspective of what this is going to mean, and I'm going to need to be investigated and all this type of stuff. Yeah, he was right. I don't want that smoke. You know what I'm saying? So
you were signing up to be on the terrorist watch list. That's what you was doing.
Exactly. Now I can't guarantee they ain't take my license plate when I drove off or nothing, but I think he did me. I believe he did me a solid and just let me walk away. Because when he said it the way he said it, I was like, you know what, brother? Black man to black man, I totally get what you said 100%. I ain't got no business being around you right now. Let me get in my car and go about my day. You know what I'm saying? He was like, that's the right attitude. I was like,
Now, when you think about it that way, you know, of course they got all kind of images and pictures of you and your vehicle and everything, and they know who you are. And I'm pretty sure they know about the Roger Report Live, sir. I would say Michelle Obama's a wonderful woman. That's what I would say. How are you?
I mean, her ass is the fattest. I'm just gonna put that line just in case she ever comes to Atlanta. Her ass is the fattest. I just don't want no trouble.
I don't know if that's gonna work on a married woman. If she was single, that might help. But I don't know if it's gonna help on a married woman.
No, they all women. They all think they ass and their pussy is the fattest. So it all works, bro. It all.
Hey. He looking for smoke with Barack. I don't. Okay, shout out to Barack.
He tried to throw me on the table. He was like, hey, Barack, he's looking for you. I'm like, hold on, nigga, I ain't saying that shit now.
That's a married woman. I'm trying to leave that alone. You know, I'm gonna say shout out to them. But I mean, as far as the message she was giving, though, I mean, she was quite eloquent. You know, y'all know how Michelle is when you know, if y'all have really listened to her speak before, she sounds great. And that's just real talk, y'all. No matter what she was talking about, it sounded good. Okay. When she told me and to throw other men under the bus so their daughter could be CEO, it sounded like a great message. I kind of understood what she was saying, but it sounded like a fantastic message the way she put it out there. And the way that line about if you didn't make it happen, you lied to your daughter. Man, if I was a father, I know that would have pricked my heart. You know what I'm saying? The way she said what she said. You know, and you know, the way she was presenting that patriarchy puts pressure on women because they have to dress a certain way. They gotta you have to make a decision about what should you go to the job interview and the dress so you can get an advantage. And they said that's hard, y'all. Now I'm sitting here as a man thinking if I could just put on a white pair of pants and give myself a better chance of getting that job, in my world that sounds easy. Oh, if you just wear these slacks, it'll make it better for you. You know, heck, I mean, that's why I go to job interviews dressed up. Why? Because people said if you dress up, it gives you an advantage. I found that to be a very easy thing to do. Now, I'm just going to keep it real. I found that to be very easy. I could put on some jeans and a t-shirt, or I could put on some dress slacks, some dress shoes, a dress shirt, a tie, and a jacket, even when it's the summertime. And that's all I got to do to give myself an advantage to get a job. That's all you got to do, bro. You just get yourself dressed and prepared. But yeah, okay. I did that plenty of times. Okay. I did that plenty of times. I dressed up for the interview. I didn't find it to be a difficult thing to do, and it's going to have anything to do with my status in society. I just found, hey, if it's going to give me an advantage, that's an easy thing for me to do to get an advantage. I didn't take it as it was like a political position or whatever they was trying to mean by that women have to juggle all these crazy decisions, you know. And maybe somebody would say, well, did you have a lot of female interviewers? No, I didn't. I had some, but I didn't have a lot of them. I'm gonna be honest about that. But you know what I didn't think? I didn't think anything about me being attractive to them was gonna help me get their job. That didn't even cross my mind. And that's just real talk. It never crossed my mind once. But if I could just come off as attractive to this female who's giving me the interview, maybe she gonna give me the job. I didn't even think that way at all. And I do find myself to be an attractive man. And I didn't even think about that. Well, let me hit on the woman or something. Ain't even crossed my mind. If anything, to do something like that will pretty much guarantee I don't get the job. So to me, they literally was saying that it's hard to be a woman, and they talked about the advantages women had. And they blame patriarchy for it. They blame patriarchy for a woman's benefit and acting like this woman's benefit is somehow a problem. And shout out to Gold P. He said, hit the likes button, support the channel, peace, peace, peace to everyone on the panel and in the chat. Salute Trail Bentley and Sharp says taxes paid. Hey, appreciate you, my brother. Appreciate you, Gold P. Always good to see you, brother. Always good to see you. Now I'm gonna say, did you really get out everything you wanted to say before usual business kind of really cut your opening statement off?
Yeah, you saw all that disrespect, but that's all right. He all right with me. He all right with me.
I'm so sorry.
No, I'm cool, man. I just wanted to check in with you guys, man, and I'm about to get on a flight probably in about 30 minutes. And I've been listening. I was in the TSA line and all that other stuff, but man, you guys have brought up some great points. Uru has done his thing as always, man, giving us knowledge that we need as young men to carry us forward. And I appreciate you, Roger, for what you're doing, man. Keep doing your thing.
I'm sorry I got cut off early. I had a important phone call to take, so sorry for my abrupt departure earlier.
A man's got to do what a man's got to do.
Mm-hmm.
We understand.
Yeah, I'm trying to help a young brother with some stuff. So, but I wanted to emphasize, and I kind of obviously I lost momentum by dropping off. I want to emphasize the level of, I would say, treachery that Michelle Obama is engaging in here. And I want to emphasize
my plane to go down. Who want my plane to go down?
I mean, let's be careful, bro.
We don't want you coming back home, bro.
This is a perilous time for Black women. It's a perilous time for Black women, man. How many jobs did they lose the past year? This woman had a 2-hour conversation, and Black women have lost in 6, maybe 7-figure in terms of job losses the past year. No mentioning of that at all. In a 2-hour speech, this one's the only Black woman, and we can debate how Black her husband is, but she's definitely a Black ADOS FBA American woman. No mentioning of that at all. All this feminist talk, she's talking from the perspective of a upper middle class or middle class white woman, lamenting not being able to get the corner office that some white guy got. That's what that whole speech was about. That didn't have anything to do with how Black women right now are living. 2 hours this woman had that speech. While Black women are losing their jobs, they're having their professional status be degraded by Trump. Now we can debate how we feel about it and what we think about it, but she's supposedly this great Black feminist icon. No reference at all, no support at all for what Black women are really doing. A 2-hour speech, and does not mention them once in that speech. I want you Black women to hear what I'm saying as you're listening. You are being abandoned by this particular strata of Black women. Like I say, it was a game of musical chairs. You didn't know it was, but it was. Certain people got their chairs already booked, and the rest of y'all are ass out. I was watching Shay Shardae's channel the other day, presenting all these Black women begging for money, begging for housing, them and their children. That's what's going on with Black women right now. And this woman was in the White House for 8 years. And she's talking like she's some white woman who didn't get promoted to CEO like the white guy did. I thought what she did was profoundly treacherous right here. But it's not surprising. It's not surprising at all.
Well, I'm gonna say she had.
It's treachery to what she is and where she come from. It damn sure is treachery from where she can't. This is a Black woman that came from the South Side of Chicago. You damn right it's treacherous what she's doing.
And I guarantee you some Chicago women been affected by some of them layoffs. That's for sure. They definitely have been affected. And let me just say real
post office, all those government jobs, there's a lot of federal jobs in Chicago. You probably got, I would say you got a minimum of 5,000 black women in Chicago, Chicagoland area, probably have lost jobs, you know, from when Trump got in the office. I bet you there's about 5,000 women in the Chicagoland area or the greater eastern Illinois area who have lost jobs because of what Trump did. I know that's true.
Black we are to 1 million right now.
And she probably want each one of them to buy a copy of that book too.
Double copy the platinum.
So look, I mean, obviously she sold out black men and black marriage and you know all the stuff that we might promote, but she's selling out black women.
Yep.
And this was the whole point of this. The whole point of this was about building her own channel. She went on that white woman's channel. It was very popular. Call Me Daddy or whatever kind of foolish term name is of this channel. You know, Miss Andrews' name of this channel. She went on there because it's very popular with white women, and particularly white women of a certain status level. And she went there to improve her bona fides with upper middle class and upper class white women. That's what the purpose of this was. She don't give a damn about her own kind.
I mean, I keep telling y'all, man.
Let me say real quick, shout out to Gold P, who also hit me on the Cash App, and he dropped the $5.95. That's why he said taxes paid. Okay. Shout out to him for that. And shout out to Revelator as well, who dropped $5 on it. He said, salute, Roger. Hey, appreciate you, brother. Salute to you. Always glad to see you. Always glad to see you. Appreciate you big time. Appreciate you big time. Yeah. Michelle talked for 2 hours, and Black didn't come up really at all, other than the fact that she knew she had to be on point if she was potentially going to be the first Black first lady. And, you know, her life is tough because she got to make outfit choices, you know? No, she literally said that. It's something men won't understand, but we don't understand the pressure that they're under because they show up and they not.
Let me add some nuance to this outfit thing. But then this is where I would say I'm going to speak in support of her, but then I'm going to further make my argument that is also a sign of treachery, because a lot of the outfit talk was very racist. She's a tall, very Black woman. She isn't the most glamorous looking woman. Like I say, she's tall. She's somewhat defined in terms of muscularity. I mean, I guess she works out quite a bit. And at least at the time, or I don't know if the outfit she was wearing, she looked like she had a pretty nice ass on. And a lot of that talk was about, it was slick dissing on her being a Black woman. A lot of that outfit talk was not about her outfit choice. It was about her being a big, tall, big-butted Black woman who was going to be the first lady. And I empathize with her because of that. It was very clear what they were doing there. But see here, but this is where I have a problem with her. The bitch don't say it here during this interview.
I mean,
now she pretended like during that whole interview, she did not say it was a racial thing. What was happening there? It was some racist stuff they were doing that happening there. But she don't care about that. She don't care about that. So she pretended like it was just like if I was any other white woman or whatever, I would have gotten the same treatment. No, that was not about her being a white woman. That was about her being a black woman. But she don't even have the decency to say that during this interview.
Well, she has the voice necessary to help black people and black women, and she refuses to use it, man. That just tells you right where she is.
But I mean, Black Cruz done said she done sold out. So I mean, when you really look at the brass tacks of it all, that's just an example of her selling out. And what I'm doing is I'm leaning in the fact of what she actually said. I'm not gonna disagree with Black Cruz said. I know there was some racial stuff going on. She ain't mentioned none of it, so I ain't got to mention it either. All I know is she told me it's tough because she has to worry about her outfits as if women don't like their outfits talked about. See, I'm going off what she said. To me, you're literally complaining that people are going to talk about how great your clothes are, because that's what people do in the fashion world. They talk about people's clothes, no matter who you are, and women want that.
They have been talking about. They have been talking about Jackie Kennedy wardrobe for 65 years.
I'm saying
they got outfits of her in the Smithsonian.
And
they've been talking about how glamorous. Yeah.
So I'm doing it based on the way she presented it. The way she presented it was that they just talking about her outfits. Okay, cool.
Pandering to white women. Pandering to white women. Pandering to this very shallow, especially shallow, uniquely American phenomena of shallowness that the white American female has. That's what she was pandering to. That's specifically what she's pandering to. Oh, we'll go. They're looking at me. Oh, look, but I really want you to look at me. Oh, but you're looking at me. And I feel subconscious about that. Oh, but they're not looking at me, and that means that they're shaming me. But I really wish you would look at me. Oh, I'm losing weight. But now I'm anorexic and these white bitches. That's who she's pandering to. That's what she's pandering to. You can make a whole lot of money in America pandering to the shallow obsessiveness of the white American female. And that's what she was pandering to.
So I ain't doing it right then, basically. That's what you saying, because my bills ain't getting paid a black or I need to pander more, basically.
I mean,
to me, the purpose of this video, this interview was to better fortify herself and sell books and products and whatever to white women, specifically upper middle class and above white women.
Man, she trying to get that with that 50 million to 100 million by the end of the year, bro. She said that was that dome.
And it's gonna work.
Yeah, and she said the best way to go about it is let me go through these white women.
All the talking points. She hit all the white feminist talking points, so it's gonna work.
Yeah,
because a black woman said it, so it's got to be true. It's gonna work.
Yeah, and you can usually ease her face to be the face of any particular feminist thing that you want because it's Michelle Obama, a former first lady.
She was Michelle Obama, first lady. It's gonna work totally. I'll bet you her subscribership for her channel increases substantially from this interview.
Yeah, she probably do 100 grand.
I relate to what she gets me. Michelle gets me. That's my life. That's how I've had to deal with these men.
Mm-hmm.
That was the purpose of it. So like I say, damn what's actually happening to black women and the women, who come from where she come from. Forget about them. I mean, there was no consideration at all expressed about that. 2-hour video talking about supposedly the travails of women. You're a black woman and you ain't got a damn thing to say about them and what's going on right now.
And because she's from Chicago, she might know somebody who's been personally affected by all the job losses of black women.
She worked. She was in government for 8 years. All the people around her were in government. She worked for not-for-profits and schools and stuff like that. You don't think all them people have been affected by Trump has done? Trump has taken away research funding and all that stuff. She was affiliated with the University of Chicago. You don't think that they've been impacted by what Trump has done?
Well, that's what I'm saying. She know people personally that cause some of that impact 9 times out of 10. I can't say who she know, but the chances of her not knowing anybody who's been personally affected, that's next to nothing.
She read her resume. Most of what she's done has had some affiliation with not-for-profit, charities, hospitals, all of that. You don't think those entities haven't been impacted by the current presidential administration? They almost cut off the damn subsidy for health care, for Christ's sake. You don't think they've been impacted by what Trump is doing? You don't think millions of women have been impacted by what Trump is doing, women and girls, about that? The SNAP thing and the healthcare thing and all that?
Well, I think the thing is, it's just not her priority. That's all.
Exactly.
Black people do not understand. They are strong, independent, and they need no man. They perfectly fine, bro. Black people.
Like I said, it was a game of musical chairs. It's 100 women. It was 100 black women and 5 chairs. And 4 of those 5 chairs had been pre-assigned.
and she got one of them, and her 2 friends got 2 of them. She may not know the last.
She was bragging about. She was talking about going skiing, and she was bragging about, but if I fall, you got the Secret Service there, and if she falls while skiing, this bitch. I'm sorry, I shouldn't even be saying this.
Man, no.
This woman has a traveling doctor, man. This woman has a traveling doctor. Come on, man. If this woman takes a call, she got a traveling doctor.
I told you. I said it earlier, bro. That's the only woman that can rob your house and you can get away with it.
Yeah. What she was doing, what a lot of women call playing in your face. That's what she was kind of doing during the interview. She was stunting on them. She was stunting on them while she was talking about and trying to seem like she's just one of them, and because my husband this is extra stresses.
Well,
she was playing
it this way. If you are a woman, anything below socioeconomically below a upper middle class white woman, in my view, so that means I'm talking about white women too. If you are anything below a upper middle class white woman, you should be profoundly offended by this interview that this woman done. And like I say, it would be different if she was just some other black, some other highfalutin black woman. But the fact that she was the first lady of the United States of America for 8 years, and you got people getting shot in the face on the streets. A woman got shot in the face on the streets in Minneapolis, and she getting on there talking about some damn outfits and shit, man. God damn, man.
She already got her bunker is already made, bro. She trying to get an extra 25 million so she can be okay, bro. That's all she doing. She getting an extra 25 million so she can have an extra shirt for the pandemic.
I don't even think it's just about the money, because like Roger said, I think at this point it is about playing in their faces.
Oh, I think it's about a little bit of both when it comes to her.
Well, I'm gonna say, well, you know what? Compassion kind of done join it, so let me let him get the mic first. So Compassion, go ahead, my brother. How you doing?
What's good, bro? I've been listening and I saw some small parts of the interview, and it is exactly what Uru pointed out. It's treachery because she's absolutely not addressing anything relevant to black people who really caped for her the most, who really put her where she is really. And it is funny that she's shrugging that off and kind of, she betting on the rich folks, on the rich white folks. That's who she's siding with, I guess, at this point. So it is interesting to just observe that.
Wait a minute, you mean the same rich white people that's deep?
You said what?
Wait a minute. So wait a minute. So compassion, you talking about the same rich white people that's actually trying to go to Africa right now?
Yep, them same ones. Yep.
Yeah.
Boy, we're gonna have a cold day out here, bro. It's gonna be a cold night, boy.
I'm gonna say if you can't regularly go skiing, she ain't that worried about you. That's the way it came off. and I want y'all to hear what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I want y'all to hear what I'm saying. I'm not saying a person who's ever went on a skiing trip. I'm not saying that you tagged along one time. No. If you can't regularly go skiing, she ain't really worried about you like that. You know, because going skiing regularly is different than a person
even
who's skiing.
regularly go skiing. It's not even regularly go skiing. It's waking your ass up out the bed and telling the assistant you want to go skiing. And that's all about the trip you got to be concerned about other than getting on the damn plane. Because everything else is going to get handled for you. Everything else is going to get handled for you.
They seriously a 10-minute discussion about hyphenated last names for women. In the interview.
So what y'all saying is she's not worried about the lady out there playing hot potato with the flashbang grenade. She ain't worried about the kind of people.
No,
I don't think that woman been skiing regularly.
She revealed, but what was interesting, that interview was full of a lot of revealing stuff. Because then she revealed that she initially had her name hyphenated. She had Robinson and Obama for a while.
Why did you know what?
And let me just say, she only stopped with the hyphenation because she said basically it was too much work as far as a signature is concerned. She just didn't want to write that much.
She said it was too many syllables. That's exactly what she said.
Nice.
She said she had to pick, so she just put Obama after a while, but at first it was hyphenated. So this is where she's on her super feminist bag. That's what this is.
Yeah. So if you think she dropped Robinson because she loved Obama so much, no, that ain't what she reported. She reported, I just didn't want to write my name like that. That's all it was. It was too much work for me to write my name that way.
Got carpal tunnel.
Hey man, you know our hands getting real cramped up from pointing all the time. She was like, she was telling you point this over here, put this over there, put this over here. Boy, her hand was tired, bro. Y'all don't understand how busy her finger was, bro. Y'all really don't understand.
But it is interesting, and like I said, she's
a nasty. I mean, she's just engaging in nasty work here because so much has been invested. Like again, forget about. I mean, she don't give a damn about us men. Okay, but so much Black women have invested so much into this woman, and they were the initial fuel for this presidency. Because initially, Hillary was beating him even amongst Black people. She was beating him in the early part of that primary. Mm-hmm. And Black women caught a flame with her, and it brought more attention to him. And then they brought out the little girls. So you got these little Black girls, and like, oh, these are Black. They've been Black female certified here.
Yeah,
and then things shifted.
And to her credit, Michelle, she was a big part of that swing because she was an actually exceptional orator. She got out and talked better pretty much than any first lady ever. And that really gave something for Black women to get behind because they love to see that Black girl magic shit. And that's why, and people always respected that about her. So, and the way she's talking in this interview is everybody, they were worried about my outfit and nobody cared about the substance of my character and all this shit. And it's like, no, they didn't. You're renowned for your scholarship and for you being a lawyer and for your oratory skill around the world. So why are you taking this white woman plight of the gilded cage, this gilded golden cage bullshit you trying to sell, which only really appeals to white women, like you said, Uru, of a certain economic status. It don't appeal to that.
That's how you know it. That's why it's all about that. It's all about appealing to them. It's I'm sure she makes the $100,000 or whatever an appearance circuit thing at the women's annual summit of feminist bullshit. that kind of thing.
But maybe this is it.
So it's just this.
We ain't talking about a stupid woman. We talking about a Harvard, Yale. Did she go to Yale or Harvard? We talking about an Ivy League.
Princeton undergrad, and Harvard Law School.
So we ain't talking about a dummy here. Maybe Michelle has just read the tea leaves and said the majority of the female feminist electorate is white. Black women are already on the way out as far as the influence they have and the usefulness they have. They've kind of used up what usefulness they have, and they're going to get swept to the left. So let me just put my bid in with the team that actually has some voting power, that has some economic power, and I'm gonna ride this wave.
Well, I'm gonna say we gotta consider Michelle is in a competition with Barack Obama as far as success is concerned. Now, she may not come out her mouth and say it with those words, but at the end of the day, she's trying to make sure everyone knows about all the different things that she accomplished before she was the first lady. And now she has a podcast. She wants a podcast to be super successful. And she just wrote her third book. You think she don't want that to be successful? Because Barack done sold books too. So it would be no greater thing for her right now than to probably just simply outsell Barack on the book, and she talking to the people that she easily believes has the money to purchase that book. Because if you can make ski trips regularly, you can definitely purchase the book.
I think she might be making the play and positioning herself for a political run, because that'll be the only way you top Barack. And I believe you. I think it really do boil down that she feel insecure that Barack kind of outshined her by being a president. I think the only way you can outshine him the first.
I don't think she want nothing to do with politics. She has an opportunity.
She says that, but I don't think that's true. I think she's shrewd.
No. Trust me, she don't want no problems.
I think she's arrogant enough to want to compete with Barack and say, "I became the real first black president."
Bro, she don't want their problems. You know how I can tell you she don't really want them problems, bro. When she had multiple opportunities, she denied it, right? That's it, right? She denied it, right? And if she quote unquote wanted it, let's say right before Biden did his thing and we had to go for Kamala. If she truly wanted the opportunity, bro, right? That was her opportunity. She comes from the president. She's the president's wife. She has the quote unquote connection. That could have been Barack 2.0 necessarily.
I get that. That's on the surface though. Politically, strategy wise, timing is more important than alignment. She could have been making because to your point, she's been declining presidential runs repeatedly, at least openly. And I don't want that type of power. I don't want to be involved in this. How many times have niggas said that and then they run? That's common.
Now, my thing is, I think another person, you would be 100% correct. I think she is smart enough to understand how much work it takes to be president of the United States, and she just don't want to do the work. That's what I really believe. She likes the ideal of it, and she would love to promote the ideal of her being the first black female president. But at the end of the day, she's smart enough to know how much work is involved, and she don't want to do the work. That's what I really believe. She likes the ideal of it, and people talking about her being that way. She likes the glory that comes with it. But she is actually smart enough to know that's a whole lot of work she gonna have.
You know what, Roger? I would accept that as an answer pre-Trump. But Trump, lazy, fat, billionaire ass, he's running the country. He's done it twice now. And we know damn well he's not working hard. She don't really believe the president. Obviously, it's a big responsibility, but Donald Trump's doing it. So I would have believed that it was a big responsibility. It's too much before Donald Trump did it for 8 years. I'm not believing that now. He got plenty help. He winging his speeches and shit. It's not that the presidency ain't that serious no more. She would take it just for the clout. Imagine the clout she would have for a black woman. You telling me a black woman don't want that type of clout? Come on now. The president?
I'm telling you, bro. But she don't want that. She ain't made for it, bro. I'm telling you. When I saw what's that chick name who ran for president? What's her name? Kamala
Harris.
Yeah, when I saw Kamala, bro, and how quote unquote tired she looked when she had to do all them fights coming back to back to back. Every day I watched them, bro, and I saw her quote unquote every day lose a piece of herself. I was like, nah, she ain't gonna do this.
You wouldn't compare.
That was a gin and tonic.
far more qualified than Kamala. Kamala was in over her head, and you could see it.
She in on her, right? Like we gotta remember, bro. This like this, right? She's smart enough and dumb enough at the same time, right? This is what I'm saying, right? She was quote unquote smart enough to quote unquote somehow even get with quote unquote Barack. You know what I'm saying? She was lucky enough to somehow even lock that down somehow, right? But she wasn't smart enough to figure out this is the best shot I quote unquote had of survival.
Yes, she was, because she cemented it. She became the first lady. She wants
no. Her mom made no. You gotta remember, bro. She was politically groomed necessarily. And her mom made sure because she was gonna leave Barack Obama. Reality
it is you saying what could have happened. The point is she was groomed. She took it and she sat her ass down and she was the first lady for 8 years. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, we got to give her credit for her accomplishments. We have to.
During this interview, bring it back to the interview. During this interview, she listed out a litany of accomplishments like a resume to be the president of the United States. She said she was a fellow and all this shit. She went to Harvard Law or Yale Law or Princeton Law. She was putting it out there. So I think, trust me, politicians say they don't want to run all the time and then run. So I'm not taking that enough for face value. And she's still trying to keep herself relevant doing interviews like this. For what? A podcast? She don't need this shit for a podcast. This is Michelle Obama. She make a tweet and her podcast will go viral. Like she
All right, now I want to say shout out to Officer Franz Schmitz. He said Michelle can't stomach losing. It's not the work. Now I'm gonna say that's a legitimate point. It may be she don't want to be embarrassed if she don't believe she can win for sure. That's a legitimate
and
thought process.
Wait until now. Let Kamala get out the way. Let Kamala embarrass herself. Let all that shit get out the way, and now would be the time, especially with everybody tired of Trump and they want to get back the country to Dems next election, next cycle. She would be the perfect motherfucker to stand up and talk this feminist shit. She'd get all the white women votes, which would essentially be 55% of the population, and she would win.
All right, now let me say shout out to Afro Merchant. He says Kamala and Michelle for prayers. Who y'all got? Now, since it's in a super chat, y'all, and I know it's a joke because he got the laughing emoji. But if you can only pick between Kamala and Michelle, who you got?
Michelle. Kamala was an idiot. Kamala
we got one for Michelle.
Michelle's an easy pick because of her husband.
Okay,
that's an easy pick. It would be insane to not pick who had a moderately good president. You get this guy back connected to the White House. Why would you pick under what circumstance do you pick Kamala?
I mean, I couldn't understand why to pick her at all when she was running. So I guess that'll be a more predetermined for me because y'all know I'm an anti-Kamala for president person. Very anti-Kamala.
If Michelle comes into the White House, you have a much higher possibility of a basic level of competence coming back to that position because of who she's connected to.
And the prior experience.
Yeah. And she could at least call upon a man who's had the job to ask a question and bounce something off of him here and there.
She best friends with George W. Bush.
And not just that man, but all the people that were connected to that man. The guy who here from Chicago who was their political advisor, Valerie Jarrett. I mean, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. And I don't agree with her politically. I don't agree with, I know she would come in with some feminist bullshit, but with Kamala, we'll just run off the road. With Kamala, we'd run off the road.
Well, I thought we was already off the road.
I would say if that's who I had to pick from, I guess I'm gonna put my own mama name. I might well put my mama name on the ballot and vote because I'm definitely not about to get what I want. So
I would have to vote for Michelle, and Hillary Clinton would hate the name Obama for the rest of her life.
That would definitely be a stinger to her. That's definitely gonna be a stinger to her.
Oh my God.
That's another selling point right there. Uru pointed out. Imagine if she ran and people could get Barack back in the White House.
Yeah.
After all of this shit, boy,
I'm gonna say I'm almost mad at Afro Merchant for even putting that out there in the world. I'm almost mad at him for that because that's something we may have to actually make a choice of one day. At least from a Democratic side, you might have to make a choice. I'm almost mad at you for putting that up.
Now, that will be a good what if show.
Here is why. Here is why I am, because I was listening to you all debate about whether or not she would run, and I'm ambivalent about it because I agree with both sides of it. Here's the thing, though. How old is she? Like what? 62, 63 maybe now?
Something like that, yeah.
So you're talking about her running for office when she's 66 maybe?
Yeah.
I don't see her doing that. And
I thought Trump had another,
her
2
husband
years.
was president. Her husband, well, no, he's got another 3 years. You know, the election is in 2028, but, you know, it turns over in January. He's effectively got 3 years, basically. Almost 3 years to today, almost. Yeah. Because, the presidency turns over in January. Yeah.
Yep.
So she's 62, so she'd be what, 65 maybe?
Yeah.
Going on maybe 66? I don't see her take, I mean, and look at how the office aged the appearance of her husband. Go back and look at Obama in 2008, then look at Obama in 2016. That shit's like dog years, man.
Obama put 30 years on
that's a real gig. That's a real gig. The only person who has not been aged by that office is Trump, which lets you know that Trump is a fucking psychopath or a sociopath. And he is so disconnected mentally and emotionally from his decision making that it doesn't really impact him. Yes. He doesn't look think about it. He doesn't look a day older. That motherfucker.
He really don't.
I tell you,
He really don't.
Trump is the Sebastian Shaw of politics. The harder you hit him with shit, the more powerful he becomes.
Yeah, this nigga the
Sebastian Shaw, man.
Trump looked 5 years younger.
He do look 5 years younger, bro.
He was president the first time, and he was about 5 years younger when he ran the second time.
He absorbs drama. He absorbs trouble. He absorbs that shit.
Yeah. He's a sociopath.
I mean, he getting that true serum, bro. He getting that super human serum, bro.
Now, if you look at Trump running the first time, and then the second time he got elected, because remember the second time he ran, he lost. This was the third time he ran, and he won the second time. That nigga, he looked about 5 years younger, man.
He does look younger, bro. He looks happier, bro.
Most presidents. This is what happened. This is what happened to most presidents. They look older and they get thinner. It eats away at you. That office eats away at you. This guy, he looks younger and better. That's what happens to presidents.
That does
not happen to presidents.
He's at home, bro.
That does not happen to presidents.
We be picturing the president brooding over the Constitution like Abraham Lincoln did.
Exactly.
That nigga is not stressed out about it. He's signing drone strikes, kidnapping presidents, and ain't losing an ounce of sleep behind none of that shit.
Trump is super
background loud as hell. Great Black Reset.
I got it. Trump's super comfortable, man. He's super comfortable. Yeah, that's that airport. We know he in the airport.
And I mean, at 65, and knowing what she saw of her own actual husband go, I think it would be difficult to think of her willingly signing on to that. I'm not saying she wouldn't do it. I'm not saying they wouldn't draft her into it. And I don't, I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you, Compassionate, that it could not happen for the reasons you cite. I would say, though, I'd be more inclined to think of her doing it if she was 52, maybe, and not 62.
Yeah, that might be the only thing hold her back.
That-
Especially consider how vain she is.
What
She's
we
vain.
really better worry about if she run and they make Kamala her vice president. You know what I'm saying?
That would never happen, bro. That would never happen. There is no. You're gonna have to go to the far reaches of the multiverse for some shit like that to happen. You gonna have to go. You gonna have to go to visit the eternity and the in-betweener and all those kind of guys in order to come up with some scenario in which that would happen. Yeah,
Michelle is the type, she would pick a white male running mate just for the symbology.
Probably. Any black woman gonna have to get a white male running mate.
They would probably insist. Yeah, they would probably insist on her getting a white.
Yeah, that's an automatic. The whoever's gonna be the running mate got to be a white male. Mm-hmm. That's automatic.
And if she do that, she'll win. She'll win hands down.
Yeah. Well, no, I ain't trying to say all that. Don't put that into the world. No, I'm not saying that.
I'm just being realistic.
I 100% disagree. I'm just
being realistic that we got to accept that the electorate, the majority.
I think there are a lot of people who would want to have Barack Obama backing off, and that's how they'll largely view it. That's how they'll largely view it.
Private sector,
and they will feel a level of comfort. Exactly, I agree, in both business as well as, and I think there would be a level of comfort people have thinking, now whether Barack would actually be running the country, probably not, but I think they would be comforted by his proximity to
the irony. The irony of it. She won't run because of that, Uru. Because I think if she was to win and have Barack as the first husband, people would kind of assume Barack's presence is stabilizing it, and it would actually double down on the fact that you needed Barack. You always needed Barack.
Yes and no, but here's what I would see her doing. Here's what I would see happen. Now, because I accept what you're saying, but if she were younger and she was motivated to get the office, what they would do is a lot of grandstanding kind of shit to prove that she's the real big boss head honcho. They do a lot of Hollywood type shit.
They would have
to prove that.
And she would go over and beyond because I think ultimately, especially based off this interview and what she thinks about, and even I made a short compilation of her talking shit before, and she really does internalize that she feeling second fiddle to a black man bugs the shit out of her as an ADOS woman. She just can't. That she's a
and he's already willing to, or has been at least publicly willing to present himself in sort of subordinate ways to her. So they would just probably make a show make a point of presenting him submitting to her leadership and that sort of thing. So they could manage that issue. They could manage that issue. If she were willing to do it,
Barack will become a new public figure, and they'll be doing shows about how he owned Lake such and such fishing. You know what I'm saying? They'll have him doing all kinds of stuff, so you'll know for sure he's not the guy making decisions at the White House.
And he would openly get on camera and say shit like he was openly.
He would too.
This is Ken, my buddy from childhood. We out here fishing on Lake Michigan. You know, I grew up in Chicago.
I'm the house husband. I'm the house husband and chief, or whatever shit like that. He be doing dumb shit like that.
He be out there swimming, bro, chilling with his kids, man. Oh yeah, I'm doing all right. Doing all right, guys.
The kids would be pretty much gone at that point. They'd be in college. Well, no, because one of them out of college, I think.
That's what I'm saying. He'd be there with the kids, but he'd be literally sitting there chilling with his kids.
But speaking back to the interview, because I caught a couple clips. What I took from it, and I told y'all this backstage, and I don't think you heard it, Rob.
No, don't say what we say backstage.
No, it's something I said. It's something I said.
No, it's cool, but I'm just saying, don't be letting these folks know we be talking about backstage.
No, because I think it illustrates the point. I said it to usual. It's the Lieutenant Dan syndrome. It's black women and Michelle is part of it. Culturally, they believe they were trained to lead. They believe that they were raised to be leaders of families, accomplished. She's very accomplished. And when you become a black man's wife, you essentially be like Lieutenant Dan on a shrimp boat. You never fulfill your destiny. So you miserable. And that's what I got from her on this. Like, she was just kind of lamenting and saying without saying that, being such
I hate that Negro.
That I felt like I had to diminish myself. I never got, it's like a Marine that never saw combat type shit. Like, I trained for this and I never was able to do it. And I kind of resent.
But I never got my chance to shine.
No,
yeah.
I think she is worse than that, because I think she did do the thing that she set out to do, because she did have all these great accomplishments before she became first lady. I think the issue was the fact that the first lady accomplishment, it far surpassed all the other things that she's done, because she's not known for those things. She's known for being first lady. She's known in her circles for the other accomplishments. That's some Chicago stuff. That's some, if you part of this political group stuff, if you belong to this association stuff. But known as far as the world's concerned, like, I ain't know nothing about no Michelle Obama. Why you must say before she was Barack's wife?
I don't think in her wildest dreams that she thought. I think she thought Barack would do very well. Maybe he becomes a big deal in Chicago. He's very affable, young, charismatic figure. She probably thought he would do very well in life and very well in Chicago, particularly in the black Chicago literati kind of scenario.
Mm-hmm.
She probably never in her wildest fucking dreams thought that guy would become president. That was the problem.
Exactly.
He never thought. And so the problem is the dude, I expected the guy to be in the NBA. I didn't expect the motherfucker to be Michael Jordan.
Right.
That's what happened. And all that came with him being Michael Jordan.
So he came
and
back
what that did to how basically. I look. What's that?
So basically, that's the guy who came back from the dummy mission alive. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if y'all ever seen this show. Wow. It's just a show on Vikings, right? But I forgot his name. I forgot the name of the prince or whatever, right? But she sent this guy on from the dummy mission. He said, "Go become king necessarily, then I'll marry you." Right? Dude said, "Fuck it, cool." He went out and became king. He came back and he was like, "Hey, girl, you want to get married?" And she was like, "Oh, I didn't really think he was going to quote unquote actually become king."
You supposed to be dead. That's what she's looking at. Nigga, you supposed to be dead.
I was expecting you to get killed. I was expecting you to get killed over there.
And he came back. He was like, "Hey, see what I'm saying? What the deal is, baby?"
And I do believe that that's exactly what her plan was for Barack, because she's going to associate in all these different things that she's done. Because I'm not trying to belittle the things she's done, but she wanted a nice husband to compliment her as she goes and be admired by these people for the things she has accomplished. She just needed a good husband where she can not be ashamed of. Well, he got to be something. You know what I'm saying? He can't outdo me, but he got to be something. Well, Barack, no, he's a lawyer. Been to Harvard. He works out, but him having a political career, because that's not when he met her. He wasn't on the pursuit of a political career like that. So him becoming president,
she would have probably been okay. She probably would have been okay because he was a state senator. That's great. That's a status thing. She might have even been okay with him becoming, because he became the U.S. senator, she might have been although I could kind of see, because now we're in D.C. and all that shit, but that might have been the highest she might
She
have
thought she was gonna go.
been okay with him doing, but becoming president was too much. And not only him becoming president, but becoming this beloved social and cultural figure while becoming president.
Yeah,
that shit is just beyond. They were putting this guy on posters with Dr. King, for Christ's sake.
Man,
That was fucking with Michelle, man.
Yeah, when Stevie Wonder crying over the nigga, she watched Stevie Wonder cry over this nigga. She was, man, watch the fuck
This girl grew up listening to Stevie Wonder, man, and she got Stevie Wonder crying over her husband.
And like you said, and he brought her to DC, and there's a lot of bad DC known for the bad dark skins. So she didn't like that environment. She didn't like that.
So
she didn't like that position.
Oh, really? Like they breed them out there in Chocolate City.
DC is known for the baddest dark skins you can think of. They are known for it. Trust me. And she was in that environment for 8 years, and that shit bugged the shit. And Barack was probably, Barack was swagging around that motherfucker with Secret Service and sunglasses.
Oh, you know.
Well, I'm gonna say too that you also, I mean, she is a woman. You got to think about all the high status women who are even become friendly with her, if not actual friends with her, who had something real nice to say about her husband. And y'all know how that's a little different for black women. For other women to be talking about, to be basically saying, yeah, if you wasn't in the picture, I would definitely slay your husband. It's
every day about them white girls, every day in her face.
No, I'm saying, bro, you could have. I mean, she around even black celebrities. Like, you think a Kelly Rowland or maybe even a Beyonce before. I'm saying before she was married to Jay-Z, whatever. But you think they ain't said something slick about Barack and how he look and he got power and his charisma and all that? I mean,
No. I'm looking at it like this, right? See what I'm saying? Like, she understands that, quote unquote, Barack necessarily could probably slay it. The best of the black chicks, right? But you understand, you gotta look at how she look at it. She look at the white woman on top. So she's seeing the other white woman, other senators, women that quote unquote even above her position say, hey girl, I'll fuck your man right now in the back if you give me the opportunity. You know what I mean? You just go ahead and close your eyes, baby girl.
Yeah, I ain't hear what you were saying at first, but I'm with you 100%. And she saw everybody basically the way certain women would look at him. You know what I'm saying? And she know what's going on in their mind. She know, she know what's going on in their mind. So that's a lot of pressure, especially when you. I'm not gonna say Michelle's ugly. What I'm gonna say in comparison, Michelle is regular. She's a regular black woman. She's not a model.
Yeah.
She didn't have this fanciful background going on with her. All her accomplishments are through quote unquote hard work and dedication. She don't have any. At least to my knowledge, she has no beauty accomplishments. She's never been. She's not the homecoming queen or anything like that. Now maybe she technically was back in the day. We just don't know. But I'm saying she don't have no beauty accomplishments. She just got. Michelle's a hard worker, and she earned this spot. You know what I'm saying? That's all she really got. Which I'm not saying is bad, but when you have to deal with being in celebrities and high power position people, and you got all these different high power men around. What y'all think their wives look like? Some of them men gonna have some very attractive wives. Just is what it is. And she regular. Yeah, and I'm not saying that as an insult. I'm just saying she regular. That's all I'm saying.
But she had the status though.
Well, let me just say this, because I know somebody gonna be trying to say I'm saying she ugly. I'm not saying Michelle is ugly. I'm saying she has a regular. She's looked at as a regular person from a beauty standpoint.
Yeah, Michelle, let's keep it real. Michelle has never been considered ugly by black people standards at all.
Exactly. Exactly. So I'm just making sure y'all can't twist my words up. I am not saying she ugly. I'm just saying she regular. That's all. She wasn't no model or nothing coming into the spotlight.
She's standard issue FBA woman. She ain't exceptional, but she's not ugly at all. That was never
right.
Yeah. Ugly,
but
ugly is a reach, bro. Come
yeah,
on.
yeah, but
like,
and that's why I expressed empathy for her earlier about a lot of the criticism about her was about her being, in my view, a lot of the early criticism about her was about her shaming her for being a regular looking black woman. That's what I saw. And I felt for her because of that. And so for her to have a 2-hour speech about feminism and even allude to issues involving her appearance without being honest about what was really going on there, I just find that to be incredibly disingenuous of her. Because a lot of that talk was specifically about her being a regular looking black woman from the south side of Chicago. That's what a lot of that talk was about.
yep, yep. And she could have stood for black women, and she just chose not to at the end of the day. You know, and y'all got to think about this too, because I mean there is leverage here. I know the woman got a big podcast, or whatever. I get that. But we talking about the first lady of the United States. There's plenty of leverage going on right there. She's not gonna ask that woman about nothing she don't want to ask about, and she ain't gonna do nothing to insult Michelle whatsoever.
Absolutely not.
You know, so Michelle had plenty of leverage. She could pretty much say what she wanted to say. Michelle just said what she wanted to say, and that's what I want people to get it from. She said what she wanted to say. I'm not confused about Michelle. This interview, listening to her for these basically 2 hours, it just basically confirmed a whole lot of stuff I thought about Michelle. You know, if you thought for a second that like you give up benefit of doubt that she don't feel some type of way toward Barack, this interview lets you know, no, she do feel some type of way.
And not just
it's 100%.
And not just that, like Uru brought up, you learn just as much about a person's position on what they say, by what they don't say.
Don't say.
So and she didn't speak on. So this is she's a politician essentially. So this is a very calculated reason why she didn't speak on that, because this is a petite bourgeoisie class black woman, and just like Z talks about, that class of women is playing class warfare. They're playing sexual politics. They're trying to get resources and power, and they're willing to use any class of women below them as fodder or convenient tools when they need them, and then they'll throw them away when they don't. And this is Barack. This is Michelle throwing black women away. She don't give a fuck about. She don't need to give a fuck about black women at this point.
Not in her viewpoint. And shout out to DF. He says Michelle goes to show you that you will never be good enough for a black woman, even if you are the president. And I'm gonna say, yeah, that's something that we've said multiple times on this channel. So I agree with you wholeheartedly, my brother. I agree with you wholeheartedly. At the end of the day, you can be over 6 feet. You can be considered nice looking. You can be smooth. You can even be an Ivy Leaguer yourself, which is all stuff black women claim makes you a better man. But even if you become president, you don't even get no props. I mean, I don't know what to tell y'all. I saw her basically have a whole interview where Barack is just a footnote. Barack was nothing to focus on. It wasn't a big deal. She's not even proud that she's married to the man. Now, I find no indication that she was proud that she's married to that man. And I understood that they did say that interview was going to be about women and girls, so I do get it. But she didn't even show any pride about the fact that I married this particular man who was my husband. And my thing is, if you got a husband who's not president, you still supposed to be proud of the man you married to. Like, if you ain't proud of that, what's wrong with you? But he done did all that stuff outside of just marrying you. And he couldn't even get no shine. And again, y'all, at the end of the day, when she said that I'm unique because as I grew up, I felt safe. You know, I'm a woman who's always felt safe. I'm unique as a woman because I feel safe. That's saying a whole lot about mankind in general. You know, and again, she didn't put this on black or white.
What was her point about what was the context of that statement?
Basically, men are evil. That's what she really was saying. Men are so evil, which is why I have met so many women who've had so many problems with men in the past, and they have attacked women.
But what does she mean by she felt safe though? She was able to thwart off the evil men. Is that what she?
Basically, because she grew up with her father, and she knew both of her grandfathers. She said, "I'm unique." That she literally said, "I'm unique. I had a world where I've always felt safe." So basically, she's saying because she has had she had a father, she had two grandfathers, and now I've been guarded by the Secret Service and all this type of stuff. So I can't identify with you as far as I can try to identify with you because most women grew up in this world where they haven't been safe. Luckily for me, in my unique position, I've always been safe.
Well,
so she indicated that women are not safe.
Was that a shot at black women?
Again, this wasn't about race. This wasn't about race. This was just a shot at men in general.
I know, but it wasn't an overt shot. But she's saying I can't relate to these bitches that didn't grow up with fathers because I had plenty of fathers.
No. She was saying basically I feel empathy for these women because I'm in this unique position where I got to be safe and they weren't.
And that's what I'm saying, Rod. Let me translate you to womanese. That's the same thing when they say, I'm happy for that's nice for you. Like it's a subtle shot to say, I empathize with you guys because you're just such a bum ass bitch. And I don't really know nothing about that. But I understand how you feel because you didn't have a father because black men don't raise their daughters.
Well, explain to me the math where okay, see, this is explain to me the math where she had all these wonderful uncles, these wonderful grandfathers, wonderful brother. You got all these wonderful men. How you got all these wonderful men, fathers, but yet you're the only female that's a beneficiary of all these wonderful men? The grandfather didn't have any other granddaughters. The uncles didn't have any daughters. You got your brother. I mean, this is where, again, it sounds great until you have to actually visualize the logistics of the world she's describing. So unless she was in a fucking bubble, there was a lot of wonderful dudes around. Because guess what? All those men have friends. And most good men ain't hanging out with no damn bums most of the time. So the grandfathers had friends that were good men and fathers and husbands. The uncles had friends who was good fathers and husbands. Her brother, I'm sure, has friends. The brother went to Princeton with John Rogers, the guy who founded the investment fund. That what's her name? Who married who created Star Wars? Melanie Hobson. Well, she worked under John Rogers, who went to Princeton with her brother.
Well, they may not.
So
have felt safe,
all these, she was around a goddamn community of wonderful men, but she was the only. It was the only female in this hermetically sealed bubble that benefited from that, while all the other females were in some fucking dystopian hellhole.
And I can hear Michelle now. Hey, I said what I said. I was unique. Okay, I said what I said.
She know what she was saying.
Yeah.
I was unique. Okay. And she has to feel bad for all these other women out here that are not unique.
It all sounds great. It all sounds great. And that's why a lot of this stuff has been able, these lies, were able to be perpetuated over generations because they weren't interrogated and no logical questions were asked. And none of this stuff, this black feminist stuff, it wasn't held up to any sort of real kind of scrutiny and any sort of evaluation. So she's telling these heroic tales. And you were on the south side of Chicago coming up in the 60s and the 70s. Most folks were still married back then. Black folks were still trying to keep things together, when you were coming up. You know,
Like,
was your father the only guy who was trying to be married and keep a family together on the south side of Chicago?
let
I mean,
her
come
tell it.
on,
Yeah,
man.
Let her tell it. Yeah.
What you know? What her friends didn't feel safe.
right.
The young lady she hung out
I
with
mean,
obviously didn't feel safe.
She reading history and anachronistically to fit in with this new generation podcast bitches that she talking to. She trying to relate to this myth of this myth of black fatherlessness or just fatherlessness. Because I think that
In general,
she probably rolled into that story about how it's a father's responsibility to make you a CEO in that same conversation, right, Raj?
Yeah, yep. They both follow the same.
Exactly. Right. So this is about the burdens the job fathers aren't doing. And like you said, characterizing herself.
She said, I'm reading the transcript here. I'm reading the transcript. Yeah, I mean, just a wording right here. Hold on. I realize how blessed.
Black Guru ain't playing with him.
I realize how blessed and rare my existence was as a woman in the world to be surrounded by so many amazing men where I was always safe. Like realizing that this was more unique, like abuse, neglect, none of it. I had uncles and brothers. She only had one brother, but and you know, grands on both of my grandfathers. I now understand how rare that is. Like it's sad, and it makes me sad to know so many of us women and girls don't or can't say that they had someone in their life, or can't say that they had someone in their life that harmed them in some way, and that they were harmed at the hands of a man they couldn't trust.
She said,
so she was special. She didn't get harmed. Yeah.
Nope.
She didn't get harmed by any of these treacherous men.
Nope.
But y'all were out here scrambling in the 70s.
I'm good. You see what I'm saying? I'm good. I don't know about y'all though, girl. You know.
Y'all should come with me after school because we go to my house and y'all can feel safe.
basically admitted she lived under a safe patriarch. Then talked on paper.
Well, see, the beautiful part about this and the dangerous part about this, if a man not paying attention, he can get roped into this world where he feel like he's been inadequate and he owes her and other women an apology for not doing a good enough job of keeping his daughter safe.
And Roger, that's what it's designed to do.
Yeah.
That's what all the feminist rhetoric is designed to. See, a lot of times we be listening to them and expecting them to, like, we ask ourselves, do you believe what you're saying, when that's not a relevant question? The purpose of the rhetoric is to convince you is to convince you of a reality, of a state of the battlefield, so then you maneuver a certain way. They know they're full of shit. They know they
know it's propaganda. Goddamn, they know it's propaganda.
It's an interesting phenomenon because Oprah. If you listen to Oprah,
yep, she did the same thing.
She described her father as being the most important, thing in her life.
Yeah.
And so there's a but it's interesting. There's that generation of black women because they're all from that same, generation, that boomer and Gen X, strata of women where they have a kind of a duplicitous recounting of history where they had all this support and all of this adoration and love from black men, but yet they are like demons on current and subsequent generations of black men. It's a startling phenomenon to see. And she's a glaring example of that. She described in this meeting, she described how she initially, when they went to Iowa at the start of the campaign, and nobody knew who she was, nobody knew who Barack was, They were way behind Hillary in the in name recognition and the initial support. And she described talking to these white people about her father and how she gained empathy and connection with these old white people in Iowa about talking about her father. She described that in this interview. So there's nothing about this woman's life. There's nothing about this woman's life, about her critical life and upbringing. Everything from her husband to her brother to her father, and she mentions other elder males. She's been in a fucking protected bubble of black men. Where has she struggled with black men?
But we got to take into account that whatever friends she made as she grew up, they probably didn't feel safe, even though they was part of the same clique, probably the same neighborhood, probably went to the same
background,
school.
same
No, it's worse than that, Roger. It's not even her.
They walk around in matching T-shirts, but they don't feel safe.
It's worse than that, Roger. It wouldn't even have took her friends in close proximity to her to have that experience. These women, like Oprah and her, they're borrowing the stories and experiences of like women at large.
I'm gonna say movies. They borrow the experience of movies to tell their story.
And then like you said, the way they communicate, they try to take into account the stories, the so-called stories and experience of other women in their evaluation of things, and they start looking at themselves like a 1 in 10,000 Negro. Like, well, I was unique because most niggas don't have a daddy, and it becomes a storytelling.
Well, I'm gonna just tell you the straight up truth. I believe she said what she said because it's already public information that people was around. If it wasn't public information about who she was and what her background is, I don't think she would admit none of that stuff. I think she just couldn't lie about it.
Black Guru, I wanted to add. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, let me say this real quick. I noticed that about suburban, or not even just suburban black girls, but upper echelon, like women like Michelle that matriculate into, they start to resent the fact that they don't get they struggling single mama put themselves on badge when they actually come from good households, or they come from solid situations that they really didn't struggle. You know, it's part of your it's a rite of passage as a black woman to, you know, get it out the mud on your own and not be and have to lament the fact you couldn't rely on anybody to get your PhD and all that shit. So when the women that don't really have that life experience, they relate highly to the women who have and move through the world wanting to be able to say, you know, my daddy wasn't shit and I still made it.
Yes, she couldn't sit down at the struggle table with all the women that sit around complaining about how these men ain't this and these men ain't that, and they left me for this and this one left me for dead and this one ghosted me. She couldn't come up with her story on at the struggle table, because black women have that struggle table.
Absolutely, that's a badge of honor. It's like you was in the Boy Scouts. It's like a badge.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I sent my girl. I said this before you. I sent my girl to something. She needed like $300 for something. I don't remember what it was. She needed like $300 for something. I said, take the $1,000 with you. Why? Because I know she's a black woman. She going to the struggle table because she's gonna go be around friends and family. Mm-hmm. While she at that struggle table, my thing is I want everybody to know that you good over here. Right. You know what I'm saying? I gave her $1,000 to handle something that only took $300. Why? You know, because at the time she my woman. My woman can't be at the struggle table sharing her struggling stories. That don't work for me.
Well, the only acceptable posture at the black female struggle table is you struggling just as bad as the worst struggler, or you stunting on them bitches. Like you said, you got $1,000 when we only needed $300. That's the only appropriate position a black woman comfortable having, being exceptionally better than the bitches at the struggle table, or being just as fucked up as the bitches. So if you in the middle somewhere, you feel out, you feel left out.
Well, my thing is, because you with me, you can't be at the struggle table struggling. I didn't even think I mean, of course, I'm too young to even think about it in those contexts. But all I do know was you wasn't finna go over there and everybody was gonna start dragging me and your situation with me because you with me now. You gonna have to upgrade your situation to be with me. It just is what it is. So as long as you can hold on to this spot, you don't get to sit at the struggle table and talk about what somebody ain't did and shouldn't have did. And we ain't playing those games.
Yeah,
That's them.
Now, I'm gonna tell you this: the most malcontent, miserable black woman in the black community is a middle class, solidly stable middle class, nothing too fancy, not poor, but nothing too fancy. That's the most miserable woman in the black community. She would rather be a poor bitch in the projects or an extremely rich, Kevin Samuels, I need $300,000 a year type woman, or nothing else is worth it. Being moderately successful and solid is the most miserable, because then you don't get to play the struggle card, or you don't get to be a boss bitch.
Did you just describe Michelle Obama?
Yeah, basically, she's caught in that middle game.
You accidentally described Michelle. She did way too much to say she's struggling. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
Michelle did way too much to say she's struggling, so she can't use that card.
But she didn't get enough clout to be like Beyonce. Like Beyonce had $1 billion without Jay-Z. You know what I'm saying? So Beyonce can settle with Jay-Z and be happy because she eclipsed. She got her, she got that badge. Michelle didn't get that badge, and she resents.
And not an actual billion, so nobody said we misinterpreted. But y'all know what he meant. She didn't have an actual billion, but y'all know what he meant.
She had her own success on her own, and nobody could say she needed Jay-Z for. And that's all black women want. They want to be able to say they didn't need you for shit. You know what I'm saying? So that's a badge.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, but even that situation, what does Beyonce have without Matthew? She doesn't have nothing without Matthew.
Well, that's why
go back and look back to
that's why
Matthew is. There's a reason why Beyonce survived the early 2000s. Because think back on how many Beyonce clones there were back in the late 90s and the early 2000s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's a reason why she was the only one that came out of all of that. And that was because of the skillful management of her father, and Jay-Z took over from that. Yeah. But Beyonce ain't Beyonce without her dad.
Oh, we know that, but it's just like the Serena twins. They got rid of his black ass as soon as they was tired of having to tell that story how their daddy made them who they was. And Beyonce, and that's why Tina Knowles got rid of Matthew, because he got too big for his britches. He knew he made.
Well, no, actually, no. To be fair, actually, Matthew divorced her.
Oh,
actually, Matthew got rid of her. Yes. Okay. That's why they were estranged. That's why they were estranged from him. He got rid of her. He fell in love with that other woman.
He got tired of being held back.
Like, I mean, she kind of like, I can kind of understand why. She don't like seeing it.
We're gonna talk about
that. And he's still with that woman while Tina's been in and out of a marriage.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna say we're gonna discuss some of this backstage, I'm sure, but I'm gonna say Matthew got tired of being held back.
No, you know what it was. That's the worst position. I think one of the worst positions you could occupy as a black father is one that your kids owe you all the credit for their success. Because when you in that position, you're gonna have a lot of resentment and microaggressions and shit, especially from the mama. So you probably got tired of her.
Now, only women. Have you ever seen a situation where a man has resented his father helping him to get to where he comes? You ever see Michael Jordan express any negative thought about his father?
Yeah,
you never see any man express any negative thought about his father helping him get to where he got. If anything, it's glorious praise for the support of my father.
And to be told, one of the most made up beefs back is a boy thinking his father didn't do something his mama made him think he was supposed to do. That's one of the biggest beefs going on. But we're going to end the show right here, y'all, because we are past the 3-hour mark, 14 minutes past to be exact. So this going to be it, y'all. This going to be it. To me, it was a great show. I'm going to say shout out to Michelle for being the slickest feminist out there on the planet. Y'all, she the world's greatest feminist right now. Can't nobody take that title from her.
I'll give it that.
She's a former first lady. And I'm telling y'all, she came out smooth like Barack. I'm telling you, she was being smooth during this whole thing, where she's really telling men to, yo, you ain't a good father unless you knock some man off to put your daughter in the right position. Don't worry about whether she earned it or not. Just make sure you love your daughter. You don't lie to her, and make sure she's CEO at some point. That's all you got to worry about, and it's gonna be all right. But I got to get out of here, y'all. So it's been great. We gonna talk backstage, but to y'all who ain't backstage, hey, peace. Been a great show. Thank you for watching. If you're new, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We'll be doing this at 9 a.m. Chicago time. Not where you are, unless you here. 9 a.m. Chicago time, y'all. And sorry about the late start. Like I said, they changed some of them. I'm going to have to figure out how to go through the little change. I'll do that later on today. Y'all have a good rest of y'all day. Long live the habitual line steppers. I'm Roger. I'm right. And I'm out.